It's game night. Buffalo Sabres looking to take a 2-0 series lead on the Boston Bruins. Pregame is at 6. It's a 7:30 puck drop, and of course, both are going to be right here on WGR. Bruins head coach Marco Sturm did say with the media today that there will be no lineup changes from Game 1, while for the Sabres, it looks to be the same, although we're getting that from this morning's morning skate. Lindy Ruff would not give away any lineup notes. But some good news, both Noah Ostlund and Colton Ellis were back on the ice today. We do have 3 other games tonight. Montreal at Tampa at 7, 9:30 Vegas. They are hosting Utah. And then at 10, the Kings are in Denver versus Colorado. The Avs, the Knights, and the Canadiens are the 3 teams that each have a 1-0 series lead. Former Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin is heading to television. Andrew Marchand of The Athletic is reporting Tomlin will be joining NBC as a studio analysis for Football Night in America. And it is also draft week. We're going to touch base with Sal Capaccio in about an hour at 4. And Thursday's draft coverage with Nate Geary, Derek Kramer, and myself will be over on News Radio 930 WBEN, with Sabres Bruins Game 3 being at the same time, while Friday and Saturday are going to be right here on WGR. Bisons are back home. They take on the Clippers at 6:05. That's going to be on our sister station, the Bet 1520. We've got Yankees-Red Sox at 6:45 in Boston. 7:10, the Mets are trying to end an 11-game losing streak. They are going to host the Twins. And then at 9:38, the Jays, they're out west, taking on the Angels. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for West New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
I don't think that's a very good attitude.
It's Mike Schopp.
You don't think? You don't think? I don't think you should be butting in when I'm talking to my team. You're my assistant, okay? You're supposed to back me up and go get me juice boxes when I tell you. Now go get me a juice box. You know who you're talking to?
It's the Bulldog.
I'm talking to the juice box guy. You're crazy. I'm not crazy. I'm just thirsty. Why don't you go to hell? No, you go to hell. While you're there, why don't you grab me a juice box? I'm no juice box boy, I'll tell you that. Yes, you are. No, I'm not. Yes, you
It's
are.
Mike
I'm not.
Schopp and the Bulldog on WGR Sports Radio 550.
Do you know who you're talking to? No. You're talking to Mike Ditka. Mike Ditka, the head coach of the 1985 Super Bowl winning Bears. The rookie tight end to have the best season of all time among rookie tight ends. There's an alternate movie there. There's a movie there where Will Ferrell sort of like, oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry.
I'm yelling
You're
at
Mike
Hall
Ditka.
of Famer Mike Ditka here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know who you're talking to? No. Apparently no. Bulldog is back from Yellowstone.
I am back.
You're wearing the shirt.
I am wearing the shirt. I'm the guy that went to the concert last night. Yes, I saw Styx last night on the Grand Illusion tour. So I've got the T-shirt to prove that I was there.
Anybody sign it? Any wild animals?
I did not get any wild.
Any gazelle sign your shirt?
Animals signage.
Okapi? Any Okapi sign it?
I saw. All
I'm
the
jealous.
animals.
I'm sure it was amazing.
All the animals, and watched plenty of hockey. The way my days shook out, I saw a lot. I mean, a few hours of it was on an airplane yesterday, but still, way to go, United. Your Wi-Fi worked, so that was a real
not
plus.
Manchester United.
No, the Friendly Skies United.
Well, it worked out great for you Sunday night, right?
It really did. Yeah, it was like the end of the trip. So perfect.
Tell us how you experienced this game.
It was not. It could have been. I think there definitely was a scenario in a window where I could have been at a crowded place and gotten people rooting for the Sabres, because there were, we had enough time. We got to Montana on Thursday, and we were within like a 75-mile radius the whole time we were there. From where we stayed the first night to where we stayed the majority of the trip, and even the Yellowstone Park, we were very, very close. So we went to a couple of places and felt places out, like Thursday evening, Friday evening. Like, would this be a good place? Would you put a hockey game on in here for me? Like, absolutely. We're gonna watch. Montana likes hockey, it appears. Like, it was
really?
On Saturday afternoon. It was on every place we went, and we went to 3-4 places.
Were you in Bozeman
Bozeman is where we flew in and out of and spent Thursday night.
I've never paid close enough attention. Is Bozeman on that top 10 list every time of markets that watch the playoffs like we are?
I don't know.
Buffalo, Providence, West Palm Beach, Florida.
I
Bozeman.
don't know if there's a Montana market that makes the cut there or not.
How many people live there? Like if you have 1,000 people, they have more than that.
Yeah.
If you had 1,000 people and 200 watch the playoffs, you'd break records.
Right. Yeah, because the majority of your yeah. But anyway, I ended up we were sort of cooling our heels Sunday afternoon. We went out. We did a full day Saturday. All the animals except for the moose. Still, the quest continues for the moose.
Flights are booked.
We had a wildlife guide on Saturday, and he told us that moose are everywhere in the Grand Tetons. So I think that's the next trip. But anyway,
Wyoming,
yeah.
Josh Allen country.
So Saturday, Sunday, whatever. We're just out, just doing stuff. Great, wonderful meals. Just a great trip. Sunday afternoon, we're sort of cooling our heels in the room. 3:00, couple hours till game time. Everything is still on the table. This place, that place, any other place. Trying to figure out what to do, and the knock comes at the door. And it's someone from the hotel, obviously, I guess, housekeeping. And I answer the door, and they have an envelope with my name on it. And the woman just says, "This is from housekeeping. Just wanted to pass it along." So I close the door and open it up, and it's a little handwritten note to me, "Mr. Parker, we understand." I don't know if I have the wording. I tweeted it. Understand if you've got worked up a thirst over 14 years of a playoff drought, but here's a couple of drink tokens for the bar. We'd love to see you tonight. Wow. Now I feel
what an offer.
Now I feel like this is like where I'm gonna watch. I want to go watch the game here. Not that I hadn't been to the bar yet. It was just down the hall from our room. So I decided, okay, we're just gonna do that. And we were the only people watching.
Is that right?
In the bar. Yes.
Oh no.
There were people there, but there wasn't a lot of. If there had been Saturday at the same time of day, well, actually a little earlier in the day, the bar was packed with people watching hockey. And I was having a great time watching
Colorado.
Yeah, later on, like Ottawa, Carolina, maybe. Was that Saturday afternoon?
Saturday, yes.
Yeah. So that was really cool. And I'm like, oh well, it'll be like that again. I guess we'll just go here. They just were thoughtful enough to find out that I'm staying here, and so okay, nobody is in there watching the game.
Wow.
After the second period ended, we went back to the room. And you sort of felt like, I'm like I want to do. The Sabres are losing, and if it's 2-0 right away there, right to start the third period, okay, learn lessons. It's the playoffs. The goalie was really good. And then the game just tipped on its head, obviously. But that was all just me and my wife in a hotel room.
That can be good.
It was a really nice room with a view of mountains and a fireplace outside, but it still was there was not a scene. Because we did not go where there would be one, and there wasn't one that came.
And you
to
might
us.
have had. I don't have any excuse in not finding a scene. You might have an excuse. You might not have had an easy time finding a scene.
I'm pretty sure, like I said, that there was a place we went on Saturday afternoon that was borderline dirt floor, Old West saloon doors, the swinging doors.
Love a swinging door.
They had an actual door behind the swinging doors, but the entrance from outside is swinging doors, right? And cool band playing in there, kind of cool hippie cowboy vibe, and hockey on 6 TVs.
Wow.
Saturday afternoon. I'm sure that place would have been a scene if we had gone there. And we could have maybe made it a scene for the Sabres if we had gone there. Hey, these people are from Buffalo. Whatever.
You take a jersey or a jersey or a visor or anything?
I had my Sabres hat. A hat. Yeah.
Counts.
And so I think we could have found a scene. It was just I felt compelled because the lodge we were staying at was so thoughtful to send this note, and all right, we'll just go down there, and it just turned out to be nothing burger.
I wore a jersey downtown Sunday.
All right.
I mean, for me.
Yeah.
I'm wearing a Blue Jays visor today.
So you were what?
My son wanted to go to the Canal Side thing.
Oh, okay.
He was enjoying his so-called 15 minutes from being on the video. When he was shown, all his friends lifted him up in the air at the party at the plaza or whatever it was. But I threw on a Ryan Miller and went and hit some golf balls with Jeremy and then just dropped him off and watched the game with my wife and daughter, which was its own scene. And yesterday in here, most of what we did, it ended up, as you might expect, sounding like 2006, where we're talking about superstitions and I had to leave the room because the TV was on, or I had to turn it off, or I had to do these different things. And, now it's like we've talked about for weeks here, with people in mind that have never experienced it, we're already to the next one.
Right.
Tonight.
That's right.
A loss tonight and game one is like, right.
Yeah, right.
Good thing.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's show, if they lose tonight, tomorrow's show is thank God.
Thank God they won game one.
They won game
because
one.
You're going to Boston with a split, which is absolutely all Boston really wanted when they came here. Welcome back, all the old, well, we really wanted to do was get one. And if they get the second one, they say, well, we were really hoping to get two. Whatever. It's hockey, man. And they come fast and furious, and the ride is relentless, usually. And so, yeah. So, I mean, what a perfect – I'm sure everything's been said. Nobody needs to hear me rehash Sunday. But what a perfect re-entry into the world of the playoffs. It's like despair for 2.5 hours or 2 hours. Despair. But then they were playing badly, but they could not score, and they're losing 2-0.
Disappointment.
Yeah, disappointment. Like I said, we left. Let's go watch the rest of us in the room. Now, again, we weren't disappointing anyone. We were the only people there watching the hockey game. Let's just go back to the room and just sort of, start licking wounds and figuring out how to posit how disappointing this is and whatever. And then it just flipped on its head, and then it's absolute euphoria for what hours after the game ended. Like I enjoyed watching the scenes of people leaving the arena as much as watching the highlights of the plays, of the goals, and hearing the reaction. Like just seeing people experience that level of emotion again about the hockey team is very hard for me to keep at arm's length. I want it pouring over me at all times, because that's how I feel about the hockey team. And when I see it manifest itself like that, it's just awesome.
Well, 2-0, as it clicks under 8 minutes, 1-10, it'd be like a 2 or a 3, because they weren't getting dominated, but they were getting shut out at home in the first playoff game in 15 years. So, it was pretty low. Thompson from behind the net, okay, 6. I mean, there's enough time here left where they could get one more. I was saying yesterday how in my house I said, just get me to midnight. Get this game to midnight,
right.
and I'll take it. And then you have the second goal, which I just have been obsessing about. I'll get back to that.
I saw some of your obsessing. Good. I think it's a very good catch.
You sound like you know what happened.
I have a good guess.
Okay, I can't wait to find out.
All right.
So Thompson makes it 2-2. Then I'm like an 8 because we're even.
Right.
And they're the better team in this game. Like, I'm not going to use momentum because I don't care about that. But still,
they're rolling.
I mean, I got 4 minutes and a tie. I'll take it at home.
Yeah.
And then Samuelson is that's euphoric. And then Thompson again makes a great play on that empty net goal just to bank it off the glass and out perfectly to Tuck. Some luck in that, but 4-2. When Boston made it 4-3, I was laughing hilariously at home, just like, oh, that's funny. And then it's over. So now to whatever everybody else says, you haven't won anything yet, but great night and good enough start to feel like you could make a run here.
Yeah, the overall here, I mean, remove the euphoria and the drama of the comeback and, how long it took for them to finally get on the board and everything else. Like, to me, they were clearly the better team. Like, it looked like the matchup to me that validated wanting to play the Bruins.
Yes.
Right? Like, they really, you were going to have the puck all the time. Turned out the Sabres were initiating the physicality in the game, was something I wasn't exactly expecting. It's a weird combination to have the puck as much as they had the puck and also out-hit the team you're playing, because usually that's the other way around. You don't have the puck, so you're chasing and you're hitting people, trying to get something going your way, whatever. So, yeah, now it's just like I feel really good about the series, recognizing that, tonight could be the same script, except, somehow Thompson doesn't get that second goal because Swayman doesn't mysteriously lift his leg for reasons that I will guess about whenever you want me to.
Okay.
So it's still going to be super tight. I mean, look at these games so far, right? Yeah, sure. Philly shut out Pittsburgh 3-0 last night.
Still.
But everything has been nip and tuck here. L.A., Colorado. I saw a lot of that. And L.A. has to be going into this game tonight feeling like they did everything they wanted to do in that game.
Well, is that Boston too?
Maybe, yeah.
We should hope
that they were close. It was their game in a way. Like, the goalie is supposed to be one of the strong parts of their team. So he was, and will continue to be. So I think it just really sets up kind of how I think a lot of us expected it to. And all that means is that you're probably in for 5 or 6 more games, just like Sunday.
It's not expected, hoped.
Hoped, sure.
Really, like, you base it on shot attempts and possession stats, and then give me the final score. I'm like, I'll take that game every time. Game 1.
Yeah.
But it was very stressful. I mean, Boston could not be scored on, and Luukkonen was sort of that Luukkonen that's a little bit all over the place for much of the game. Didn't engender, to me anyway, tons of confidence. And he's still a question mark, I think, going forward in this, but got it done. He's had a fine season.
Those 2 breakaway saves on Pasternak were massive.
That's right.
Massive plays in that game. 3-0. I mean, I don't know how much more demoralized the crowd could have gotten than it was. Already a 2-0. Well, actually, those
would have made it 2.
Yeah, those were both in the second period.
Still.
So what? But either way, like, it's 2-0 in the second instead of it. It would have been a lot, I think. But
those are plays. Would you not agree? Those are plays where he is right in position.
Oh yeah.
Like, he's not flailing to make those saves.
No, right.
They're not lucky.
It's pretty straightforward what's happening. Here comes David Pasternak coming, and you can even gauge what he may be capable of doing, left or right, deking, shooting, based on pressure coming and whatever. Like, those plays are not all created equal.
Right. The second one, he's kind of forced to go left.
Right.
And then there's a rebound that's also saved.
Yeah.
But yeah, right. I mean,
those were huge. I need it be said. I mean, in tight playoff games, stopping the best goal scorer of the last 5 years in the league twice on breakaways is pretty big.
So I tweeted, after talking about it at length, the screenshot I picked of the Thompson goal right before he shoots the puck. And, I mean, dozens of takes, and I've loved all of it, because not everybody's on the same page with that. Mm-hmm. And almost none of us have ever played the game on a level where we would have any idea, sort of like, oh, but he would have scouted Swayman at the Olympics. Thanks. Mm-hmm. How helpful is that? Maybe it's maybe it's irrelevant. So there was a great wide range of opinions on that goal. What do you think?
I think one of the first comments, well, I shouldn't say it that way. One of the only comments I saw from your Twitter feed discussing this goal, I think had it right away, is that there's a defender's stick that is coming in.
Zadorov.
Right? And he's reaching there, and I think he gets just enough of Thompson's stick to throw the shot off. I don't think Thompson shoots it where he intended to shoot it.
Okay.
I think Zadorov, and I think Swayman's behavior, I don't think it makes sense to lift your leg unless he's thinking, I think he's got the glove, he's got the corner covered. So he should be thinking, if he tries to go top shelf, I've got him. Because, like, the angle he's at, he's not getting it over my glove into the corner, right? So I've got that, but I'm guessing Swayman is reading Thompson's stick angle, right? Because we talked about this. You can't just wait for the puck to be in the air. Mm-hmm. You are looking at hands. You're looking at the angle of the blade, everything.
All in milliseconds.
Right. It's all just super microprocessor. And I'm guessing Swayman, he lifts his leg because he thinks Thompson is trying to beat him above the pad under the glove. which is a pretty common place to shoot now on goalies because goalies are so structured. They're in the butterfly. Ostensibly, they should be taking away the bottom of the net where Thompson scores on Swayman if they're sealed to the ice in the I'm going in a butterfly here for people not watching. And
how could you not be watching?
So you're down there. So how wide are the pads? Right, 5-6 inches. You've got that, and then the glove is here. So in between the pad and the glove, on both sides is a pretty common place to shoot now. And I'm guessing he thought that, and rather than bring the glove down, because he thinks he's going high, so I don't want to assume he can't try to pick the corner. I'm going to lift my leg, try to outthink him. I'm going to trap him into thinking he's got me between the glove and the pad by lifting my pad, but Zadorov causes the puck to stay on the ice, and now he's cooked.
Maybe Zadorov gets the stick just above the blade?
I couldn't tell. I felt like I wasn't positive he made contact with him.
I don't think it's a deflection.
But no.
Because the puck goes in that so fast.
I think he's got the stick, not the puck. He doesn't direct the puck past his goalie, but I think he affects the shot with his stick blade.
Well, this is our effort to change what we would have changed 20 years ago, which is even on the day of the next game, absolutely fixate on something from the last game. I think Swayman's glove is lower than you remember it.
Okay.
His glove is right over the pad, and it's the corner that Thompson has. But, I mean, what kind of shot is that? And Swayman might be ready to go up. But, again, like, he's at the top of the crease.
Yeah.
Almost. Like, it's just, it's different from when he's top of the circle, obviously.
It's a lot harder to get the puck to the top corner from where Thompson is and where the goalie is than you think. If you haven't, ever seen it from the puck's perspective, oftentimes the goalie's just taking away the space by having the glove where it is. And if you try to shoot it over the glove, it's hitting the glass. So
that's just where the net is.
Right.
But Swayman would know that. I mean, he's excellent.
Yeah.
He's he's great. He's a great NHL goalie.
Right.
His instincts would be to be trusted.
That's why I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, saying I think he thought something, because pulling your leg off the ice there, I mean, it's always going to be possible that puck is staying on the ice, but I'm thinking the supercomputer that the goaltender's brain is told him he's not shooting this along the ice, so let me take away as much space as I can where he could beat me.
Yeah.
And as it turned out, I think Zadorov helped him out a lot, helped Thompson out a lot on the play. Because I don't think that puck is on the ice if Zadorov doesn't get just a touch of his stick blade.
Mm-hmm. There's also Krebs, by the way, who I inadvertently cut out of my picture of it because my computer's broken and I have tabs open. I didn't really need to show you my whole scene here. But I think a half second earlier, Thompson has Krebs, and he chooses to not throw the pass because the pass is a one-timer. Not necessarily a goal, but that's a pretty makeable pass.
Yeah.
And it's a one-timer from the slot. Money. But Thompson,
Just curls,
I'm okay with it.
Shoots it.
I'm okay with it. Anytime he wants to shoot. I don't think he always has to shoot. Just bracing for the next broadcast. Like, oh, why did he pass? I don't think he always has to shoot, but he had options there, and what a result. The Sabres have played 50 games 2. That's how you say it, by the way. Games 2 in their history. They have won 18. 18? There's no ties either. 18, 32, and 0. Yeah. If overtime losses, I'm just throwing them in and leaving it there.
That's tough.
I'm sure there's at least one.
Yeah.
Overtime loss. Joe Corvo. 18 and 32. We got to get it. 803-0550 for your calls. We've got Sal today at 4. NFL Draft. Know you're out there.
That's coming.
Sal was, and he can correct me, but the way I heard it yesterday, dead set against the Bills' first pick being an offensive lineman, and I think you're fine with that. You're hoping he's right.
I'm there too. Yeah.
Pregame at 6:30, but there's a lot. We've got lots of lengthier interviews and maybe Gary Bettman, so we might bump that up. I haven't asked anybody if that's okay.
Paul is going to join us at 6.
Paul is coming on at 6.
We can call it whatever we want.
That's great.
I suppose.
That is good news.
Yeah.
That is good news.
Paul is set to lead off the 6 o'clock hour. If we decide to call it pregame, so be it.
Okay. Lines open on game 1, but I mean, hey, look, ancient history. Had to hear from Bulldog on that Thompson goal. Game 2 tonight, 7:40.
Well, they haven't won anything yet.
I do know that. I think we all know that.
Good job, G, posting that clip.
If there's one town you don't need to say that to, this is the one. Right. We know. There's no banners yet. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog looking for your calls next. This is
Do you know who you're talking to?
No. Apparently no. Bulldog is back from Yellowstone.
I am back.
You're wearing the shirt.
I'm wearing the shirt. I'm the guy that went to the concert last night. Yes, I saw Styx last night on the Grand Illusion tour. So I've got the T-shirt to prove that I was there.
Anybody sign it? Any wild animals?
I did not get any wild.
Any gazelle sign your shirt?
Animals signage.
Okapi? Any Okapi sign it?
I saw. All
I'm
the
jealous.
animals.
I'm not. I'm sure it was amazing.
All the animals, and watched plenty of hockey. The way my days shook out, I saw a lot. I mean, a few hours of it was on an airplane yesterday, but still, way to go, United. Your Wi-Fi worked, so that was a real
not
plus.
Manchester United.
No, the Friendly Skies United.
Well, it worked out great for you Sunday night, right?
It really did. Yeah, it was like the end of the trip. So perfect.
Tell us how you experienced this game.
It was not. It could have been. I think there definitely was a scenario in a window where I could have been at a crowded place and gotten people rooting for the Sabres because there were, we had enough time. We got to Montana on Thursday, and we were within like a 75-mile radius the whole time we were there. From where we stayed the first night to where we stayed the majority of the trip, and even the Yellowstone Park, we were very, very close. So we went to a couple of places and felt places out, like Thursday evening, Friday evening. Like, would this be a good place? Would you put a hockey game on in here for me? Like, absolutely. We're gonna watch. Montana likes hockey. It appears like it was
really?
On Saturday afternoon. It was on every place we went, and we went to 3-4 places.
Were you in Bozeman?
Bozeman is where we flew in and out of and spent Thursday night.
I've never paid close enough attention. Is Bozeman on that top 10 list every time of markets that watch the playoffs like we are?
I don't know.
Buffalo, Providence, West Palm Beach, Florida.
Bozeman. I don't know if there's a Montana market that makes the cut there or not.
How many people live there? Like if you have 1,000 people, they have more than that.
Yeah.
If you had 1,000 people and 200 watch the playoffs, you'd break records.
Right, yeah, because the majority of But anyway, I ended up, we were sort of cooling our heels Sunday afternoon. We went out, we did a full day Saturday, all the animals except for the moose. Still, the quest continues for the moose.
Flights are booked.
We had a wildlife guide on Saturday, and he told us that moose are everywhere in the Grand Tetons. So I think that's the next trip. But anyway,
Wyoming,
yeah.
Josh Allen country.
So Saturday, Sunday, whatever. We're just out, just doing stuff. Great, wonderful meals. Just a great trip. Sunday afternoon, we're sort of cooling our heels in the room. 3:00, couple hours till game time. Everything is still on the table. This place, that place, any other place. Trying to figure out what to do, and the knock comes at the door. And it's someone from the hotel, obviously, I guess, or housekeeping. And I answer the door, and they have an envelope with my name on it. And the woman just says, "This is from housekeeping. Just wanted to pass it along." So I close the door and open it up, and it's a little handwritten note to me, "Mr. Parker, we understand." I don't know if I have the wording. I tweeted it. Understand if you've got worked up a thirst over 14 years of a playoff drought, but here's a couple of drink tokens for the bar. We'd love to see you tonight. Wow. Now I feel
what an offer.
Now I feel like this is like where I'm gonna watch. I want to go watch the game here. Not that I hadn't been to the bar yet. It was just down the hall from our room. So I decided, okay, we're just gonna do that. And we were the only people watching.
Is that right?
In the bar. Yes.
Oh no.
There were people there, but there wasn't a lot of. If there had been Saturday at the same time of day, well, actually a little earlier in the day, the bar was packed with people watching hockey, and I was having a great time watching.
Colorado.
Yeah. Later on, like Ottawa, Carolina, maybe. Was that Saturday afternoon?
Saturday, yes.
Yeah. So that was really cool. And I'm like, oh, well, it'll be like that again. I guess we'll just go here. They just, were thoughtful enough to find out that I'm staying here. And so, okay, nobody is in there watching the game.
Wow.
After the second period ended, we went back to the room, and it sort of felt like, I'm like I want to do. The Sabres are losing, and it's 2-0 right away there, right to start the third period. And okay, learn lessons. It's the playoffs. The goalie was really good. And then the game just tipped on its head, obviously. But that was all just me and my wife in a hotel room.
That can be good.
It was a really nice.
Ross getting it in front, a backhand in front, Patrick with a miraculous save on Klotz. Do you believe? Oh, brother, we are not worthy.
That's not a playoff highlight, is it?
I don't think so.
I don't either. It would be 98, maybe, but I don't think could be 98, could be 2000, could be 01. I don't think it is. I don't think it's a playoff highlight.
I'm just glad that as it started playing, Zach had said it was Flyers, and I know I can see the save in my head, but as the highlight is starting to play, I'm thinking in my head, who's the save on? Is it LeClaire? Is it Rundberg? And then as soon as Rick starts the call before he says Trent Klatt's name, my brain went, this is going to end up with Trent Klatt.
Trent Klatt.
This is going to end at Klatt.
4 T's.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
2-2. 96, 7, 8, 9 Flyers. So if it's playoffs, it's 98. I don't think it is. Here's Anthony with us. Hello.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking the call. I appreciate it. Just want to say 2 quick things. Number one is I've been listening to you guys since 2004, the McGahee days, maybe even earlier.
Thank
you. You guys have been a part of my drive for a long, long time, and I appreciate you guys. And, Chris, I'm very happy for your son being on the radio. It's nice to hear that. So just want to say that real quick.
Thank you. That's really nice of you to say. Thanks.
I'm super, super stoked for him to carry on your legacy. What I'm most excited about with these playoffs is we're back, but I feel like we're back and it's a sustained possible level of success. With the Bills, we've been so accustomed to them not only being in the playoffs, but just kind of being, one of the favorites. And, of course, the Sabres have not gotten maybe back to that level yet. But this is not something where they snuck in on the last day. I understand it was a little tight. The whole East was tight. But I really am most excited about the possibility of them and their young core and how this could be a multi-year thing. Of course, you never know what's going to happen year to year. But that's what I'm most excited about. Sunday was an unbelievable experience. I was DJing at a bar downtown, just had an incredible time. I'm doing that again tonight, and I'm really excited. And I guess for me, of course, I want the cup. But what I'm most excited about is the fact that they have a young core. They look solid, and I think that this is something that we could be maybe getting used to, like akin to the Bills. So go Sabres, and we'll see what happens tonight.
Yes, sir. I can't tell you that I've thought about that at all meaningfully yet. I was good about this for myself. I liked myself during this because during the last 2 months of the regular season, or 3, I chose not to get too far ahead and think about matchups very often. Once in a while with you, we talk about it, but I loved the last month of the regular season because they were going to make it. And if they didn't get first place, fine. It was just really all so much fun. Now I'm here. I am not to, no, you can be. I am not to next year's cap-friendly spot track page. I don't know. They're pretty young.
Yeah.
There'll be the Tuck question.
I think there's a lot of reason to be optimistic about the sustainability of what they've got going here. Because I don't think, I don't know, maybe we'll find out in 5 more games that the whole thing was smoke and mirrors and it's fluky, but I really don't believe so.
But they're not the Oilers. where you have the best player of
No.
all time almost.
No.
And can almost, like you would in the NBA,
Just assume
Garrett,
you're going
you
to
could
be a
just
contender.
assume-
Right. McDavid's as close to Josh Allen as the NHL has.
or LeBron,
Right.
somebody that just like, well, we can't not. They barely made it.
Edmonton, yeah. And they barely won last night, too. Anaheim was up after 2, I think, in that game, 3-2. But they got it. Fine. If that is sustainability is what is exciting you at this moment, I'm not gonna get in your way. I mean, the here and now is very real and very exciting. Like, I think this team, to me, qualifies every bit as a contender to come out of the East. Thought that before the playoffs began. Watched a bunch of game ones, and there's no reason, I think, to change your mind about that if you felt that way. If you're still waiting to be won over because it's only one game and it's only the first series, that's fine too. But if you want to jump ahead and look to, is this thing going to be one and done, or can you keep it together for a while? I mean, I think there's promising signs for keeping it together for a while. Aside from the Tuck decision that they'll have to make, or that he'll have to make, one or the other. It's going to take, the both parties are going to need to agree to want to keep going. I think the fact that they're where they are right now, and there's whatever to be written here in the next 2 months, it just changes everything about the dynamic of, if you lose Alex Tuck, you should not, I think, theoretically have as hard a time finding someone to replace him, whether that's internal or from out there in the wild, because you're not in the desert anymore.
I mean, Lindy retires at the Cup-winning press conference, right? So they have a new coach.
Sure.
They win the Cup.
That could be right.
He sits there, that banner with all the sponsors and the logos. That's it. I'm good.
I'm out.
I mean, is he their coach in 2 years? Not that I'm worried about that. To your point about the attractiveness of the Sabres, that's up there on the short list of most incredible differences from 12 months ago. Because a year ago, we're just burying ourselves in self-pity because they can't get good players, and they even say it. So what do I have to do? I have to draft lucky. I have to draft early and then draft lucky and then maybe make a couple trades and that hit, and then get lucky goaltending. Like, that's really what it has sounded like for a decade around here, is like the sort of the post-Eichel, where we had Eichel, Reinhart, super high-end talent, and then that didn't get us anywhere. So, all right, now how are you going to do this? And you've got those guys as kind of the examples of why you'd want to leave Buffalo. They go and win immediately. O'Reilly, too, they just go and win. So that's different now. How different? Eventually, and how this plays out will have some role in this. It'll be up to Terry Pegula and the Sabres to take that a step further. And like, this was not a fluke. Here's what we will do for our players. Here's what we will do for our fans. Good giveaways, make it really in everybody's best interest, pour the money into it, and take this thing forward, like you said you were going to do when you bought them and didn't. So that'll be what, but that can wait, right? You're thinking it, I'm thinking it.
It absolutely can wait.
That can wait.
Yeah.
I don't know about sustainability. I've had a good goaltending year, and I got to capitalize on that, and I have so far. But that's not a given any given year. Like, that's something that can change all the time, and usually often does.
I think when you are capable of defending the way
Yes.
this team defends overall, it makes the good goaltending year a lot less random.
Fine.
So that's the most encouraging thing about them overall.
And they're young
is
there.
that. Right. Mm-hmm. They're young there. And really, and I'm not just talking about those 6 guys, though. Like, the whole lineup, just defending, they're just very effective. And you should see more of that as this series unfolds. I don't think Boston is capable of really handling them. They'll get their goals. The games will be close because it's hockey. But I think Buffalo is just going to smother them.
Okay. Well, the 2006 comparisons continue to abound. That year was tight. 2-2 into overtime. The Briere goal from Hesht, double overtime to win game 1. Okay. Well, that's a relief. No experience. What an atmosphere. What a game-winning goal. Let's see what happens in 2 nights. Boom, 5-0 after 1. We thought we were better, and now we're definitely better.
Right.
That series went 2-2 in games.
It did. That's right.
They won Game 6 in Philadelphia 7-1, 20 years ago. I apologize. I mean, who even needs it? Speaking of that game and series, though, Thompson, I read from the Sabre notes, so he had 3 points in Game 1, all in the third. If he gets 2 points tonight, he'll be the first Sabre to have back-to-back multi-point playoff games since Mike Greer, who in that Game 6 in Philadelphia went 1-3, 4 points. And then in the Classic,
Game 1, 7-6.
he had 3 points in Ottawa in game.
Including the assist on the game-winning goal.
Oh, right.
Right? Doesn't it? The
That's right.
I need the name of the defenseman.
Mazarov.
No.
Mazarov falls down.
Say it again.
Mazarov, future Sabre.
No, it's not him. It's a different guy.
Is it?
It's not Mazzaros. Yeah.
Mazzaros, I meant.
Yeah. No, it's a different European.
That does what?
That
Falls?
No, the puck gets stuck in the water, and Greer picks it up, passes to Drury, and they score.
Oh, up here. Okay. I don't know.
No, I'm talking about game 1 in Ottawa.
No, up here, like in the zone.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
That's
Volchenkov.
Mazarov was a form of. Yeah, I'm wrong.
I'm almost sure
Volchenkov.
he's the guy who loses the puck. Greer gets it, and then.
I hear Mazzaros is beating the drum tonight.
Oh, wow, that's exciting.
They're bringing out the Sabre heavy hitters. No pun intended.
Just because we just brought him up now.
No, I think he's got playoff experience.
All right.
Greer, you said on the winning goal. My mind's eye went to the first goal, where it's like across the crease to Roy.
Okay.
Right away, maybe shorthanded.
Yeah.
Right away in that game. Anyway, Mike Greer, welcome back to the show.
Yeah.
Mazzaros, who would play for the Sabres, Volchenkov.
Right.
Nice. David is next. Hello.
Hey, guys. I wanted your take on a couple things. One is the second goal for Thompson. Could it have been something like a no-look pass, like he was looking at that direction, and it was his hands and stuff making it seem like he was going to shoot there and just quickly went down below? That's the first take. The second take I want from you guys, and it's a fun one, and I hope you guys talk about it. You don't have to talk about it now. The wife and I were cleaning out our closets to donate, and I had 2 jerseys. One was a Tyler Myers jersey, and the other one was a Skinner. I gave away the Skinner. The Tyler Myers, and kept the Skinner. So I'll hang up, and I'd like to hear you guys' take on both.
Okay, on the goal, anything's possible. We went through what Mike talked about it a lot yesterday and a little bit today. I gave you my thoughts. I don't know what's right. My guess is my best guess, and I did have a lot of time to think about it sitting on an airplane yesterday. But I don't know that I'm right, and I don't really care which jersey you kept.
I don't either. How can anybody else decide that for you? It's up to you.
Who
did you like more? Right. I can't tell you who you liked more. Yeah. Sal Capaccio coming up at 4. Thanks, David. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR. Tony is next. Hi, Tony.
Hey, good afternoon. First off, congrats. Huge win. Electric, unfortunately, can't afford to be there. But, listen, I think we need to pump the brakes. Last I checked, it requires, is it 16 games to win the Stanley Cup? We need to be excited, but we need to pump the brakes.
Why?
Coming from Southern Ontario, there's a hockey team.
Why do you and I need to do that?
Well, I think the Sabre Nation needs to do it.
Why?
There's this franchise that as I said, I live north.
I know you're going to talk about the Leafs, but I still don't understand why anybody needs to relax.
Well, wait a second. We haven't won anything yet.
Everybody knows that.
The Toronto Maple Leafs are infamous for celebrating against the Boston Bruins, and how's it turned out for them for the last 60 years?
Because they what?
Let's enjoy it. It's great.
Because they got too excited? Because fans cared? That's why they lost?
Well, I don't know. Lots of reasons why
what's your point?
The point is we haven't won anything yet.
Everybody knows that.
We won one game. You sure about that?
Yes. Nobody follows the NHL and is confused about what the standings say. Nobody.
And nobody's confused, and it requires 16 wins to drink out of the Stanley Cup, correct?
Correct. Yes.
All right, good. Well, listen, I hope it continues. It would be a great story if we can find 15 more wins. Thanks for taking my call.
Of course, yeah. Who doesn't love that guy in life, right? Is he there for anything that you enjoy to tell you that you shouldn't enjoy it, or just this? I like he's going to preach to me about the Leafs. Is that guy possibly driving around thinking that the fans are the reason the Leafs don't win? Is anybody? Is it our fault that the Sabres haven't won? You're not allowed to be excited today? Oh, please explain the playoffs to me. So wait a minute. Let me get my notebook. 16, how do you do the math on that? It's 4 rounds, and then, yeah, I guess that probably checks. Screw that. This city, I mean, thanks for the sermon. It doesn't even need to be said. All that I'm thinking about saying right now does not need to be said. You wait 15 years for a playoff game, and you sound to that guy like you think you just won the cup? Is that real? Is that true? Is that how I sound? Is that how CJ sounds and Kevin sounds, who called in? Is that how other people who've called the station today sound? How do you even measure that? I'll tell you how I think I sound. They're up 1-0 in the first round. And on top of that, we just provided. I mean, I think it has a chance to be like an all-time great game experience for people. They have to win the series, not the cup. They have to win the series for the game to, like I just talked with Adam Krautwurst about it, a different example, for the game to sort of hold up. Otherwise, like, that's kind of a thing that's a little bit morbid, but you could sit around with your friends at a bar trying to remember great Sabres highlights in series they lost. I'm not sure I'd recommend this. I'm not sure if it's cathartic or whatever. Nobody's confused. And not one sane person thinks Toronto hasn't won a cup because of the fans. Like, just, you're insane if you think that. I don't think the guy really did. He just wanted to, lecture me on, and all of us, of course, too, on how this really works. Get out of here. How about somebody from Toronto trying to tell us this story? Get out of here. I think you're jealous. I think the Sabres just did a thing that you are missing because the Leafs are not in the playoffs. And unfortunately, we don't want this. You wouldn't want this on anybody. But when you go this long before even getting back into the tournament, I mean, of course it's going to be more intense. Of course it's going to be more exciting and all of that. That's just how it is. That's just human nature. I mean, of course we're going to be this heightened pitch about them. I mean, just who doesn't love that guy in life? Actually, you shouldn't be happy, Mike, everyone. You should sound like you know your history. I do know my history. If I didn't, maybe I'd have to listen to that.
We've been living in sin so long, all the feels are gone. Fella stopped me on the street last night, said everything's alright. Roller coaster, make it through the day upright. It seems your meal ticket is gone, but life goes on. I could never imagine something better. Yeah, right. Now you're cooking on high heat in the middle of the street. Roller coaster, take me to a better time. Let's go. All sing your high line with the roller coaster of life. Yeah. It's time to all choose your timeline on the roller coaster of life. You seem to easily forget how to place your bet. When everyday life gets you down, you gotta steal the crown. Got to own it. Don't bitch and moan about it, please.
It's been a
my
while
parents'
else
wedding
has done
song.
that.
My parents' wedding song.
The guitar noises over the guitars.
How do you make a guitar noise?
I don't. I play
You
guitars.
should,
I
right?
play guitars. I don't know.
First is like, how would you know where Thompson's shooting?
No, it's
That's
about,
how would you know how to play guitar?
It's about how you do it. I just don't do it in front of people.
No? Ever? Okay.
You're in the ballpark there. I mean,
I thought it was great.
I don't know that I would do better.
Sal coming up in less than 15 minutes, NFL draft. Man, the Arizona Cardinals played the game yesterday. Oh, you would have been so impressed.
What did they do yesterday? I missed this.
I mean, it's so embarrassing. How does like a Schefter live with himself? Probably the money. But just, here come all the insiders right in line. Basically, the Arizona Cardinals at pick 3 would love to take Jeremiah Love, but they're open to moving and are taking offers. How do you possibly report that and like look in the mirror? Of course they are. Of course they told you to say that. They don't want to pick Jeremiah Love. They want to not have to pick Jeremiah Love. Right. They want to trade the pick, and you're going to help them. Good job, good effort.
Right. Yeah, it might be a sign that they don't like anyone else in this draft class if they feel like they have to take the running back at 3 and would rather not.
They just it's so stupid and obviously transparent how much of a lie it is. I mean, maybe you've got an owner involved, and that's where the pressure ends up on the quote insiders, where they feel like they have to say it. Just, it was a bunch of them all at once. Oh, the Cardinals would, they would take Jeremiah. No, they won't. I mean, if they do, they're probably idiots. And the owner can decide, and maybe they really will, if they get sort of like hard up over how they didn't get the trade they wanted. And like, all right, fine. We said we would, so let's do it. That could happen. But that'd just be amazing. The Cardinals took a running back at 3. Who's the quarterback of the Cardinals?
That's the question. See, I want to be nice to the Cardinals. Not that this is about the Cardinals. It's more about Adam Schefter, I think, what you're saying here.
The Cardinals should have some self-respect.
But the Cardinals are planting this, and like it's obvious what they're doing. So it is criticizing the Cardinals, which I don't want to do right now because I want them to give me a bunch of stuff to move back into 26 to take Ty Simpson. I don't know how likely is like that specific trade to happen. I mean, I don't know, but it happened last year, and Houston was the team that traded, and they got paid handsomely, and I would love that for the Bills.
Well, that might be the most interesting thing to watch for Thursday night is Ty Simpson, I think.
Yeah.
Because there's no third guy. I think if he goes in like the 20s before the Bills turn, then there's no one else Arizona's moving in for.
That's right. That's right.
Over under at Bet Online today, Ty Simpson 29.5. So if you want this, you think it'll happen, jump on it. I'd love for the Bills to be able to do that now, but they really can't.
Right. That trade last year, by the way, was 33. That Houston got paid for pick 25 by the Giants. The 33rd pick. The 91st pick, I think it was, or I might have that in my head. For a third-round pick is what they got, and then a third this year as well. That might even be rich. I might even do it just for the 33rd and the it won't be 30. You know what I mean? Like 36 or whatever
for two of those 3 picks.
For 2 of those 3 picks, yeah. Give me an early second and a third. I think I would get out of there.
Yeah,
so come on up, Arizona.
And the Bills need it. In my opinion.
That's why I'm for it.
They need it. I mean, they don't have a second-round pick, and there's so much that happens there.
The pool of players available. Like, I'm if Casey Concepcion is there, maybe I don't want you to do this, right? But if it's the edge guys and like the 4th or 5th receiver, I'll get out of there.
Amazing that we have that same receiver intrigue this year. Concepcion over-under, the same site, 24.5. Omar Cooper Jr., 23.5. Denzel Boston, 26.5. Bills are 26.
Mm-hmm.
Like they'll probably be able to pick one of those guys
if they want.
They want to. Maybe not. But the Simpson idea is interesting too. Sal Capaccio coming up next, round one of the NFL draft Thursday. The Sabres and Bruins, game 2 tonight, 7:30 here on WGR.
With a view of mountains and like a fireplace outside, but it still was like there was not a scene because we did not go where there would be one, and there wasn't one that came.
And you
to
might
us.
have had. I don't have any excuse in not finding a scene. You might have an excuse. You might not have had an easy time finding a scene.
I'm pretty sure, like I said, that there was a place we went on Saturday afternoon that was like borderline dirt floor, Old West saloon doors, like the swinging doors.
Love a swinging door.
They had an actual door behind the swinging doors, but like the entrance from outside is swinging doors, right? And cool band playing in there, like kind of cool hippie cowboy vibe, like, and hockey on like 6 TVs.
Wow.
Saturday afternoon. Like, I'm sure that place would have been a scene if we had gone there. And we could have maybe made it a scene for the Sabres if we had gone there. Like, hey, these people are from Buffalo. Whatever.
You take a jersey or a jersey or a visor or anything?
I had my Sabres hat. A hat. Yeah.
Counts.
And so I think we could have found a scene. It was just, I felt compelled because the lodge we were staying at was so thoughtful to send this note, and all right, we'll just go down there, and it just turned out to be nothing burger.
I wore a jersey downtown Sunday.
All right.
I mean, for me.
Yeah.
I'm wearing a Blue Jays visor today.
So you were what?
My son wanted to go to the Canal Side thing.
Oh, okay.
He was enjoying his so-called 15 minutes from being on the video. When he was shown, all his friends lifted him up in the air at the party at the plaza or whatever it was.
Wow.
But I threw on a Ryan Miller and went and hit some golf balls with Jeremy and then just dropped him off and watched the game with my wife and daughter, which was its own scene. And yesterday in here, most of what we did ended up, as you might expect, sounding like 2006, where we're talking about superstitions and I had to leave the room because the TV was on, or I had to turn it off, or I had to do these different things. And, now it's like we've talked about for weeks here, with people in mind that have never experienced it, we're already to the next one.
Right.
Tonight.
That's right.
A loss tonight and game 1 is like, oh, whatever.
Yeah, right.
Good thing.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's show, if they lose tonight, tomorrow's show is thank God.
Thank God they won game 1.
They won game 1.
Because you're going to Boston with a split, which is absolutely all Boston really wanted when they came here. Welcome back, all the old, well, we really wanted to do was get 1. And then if they get the second one, they say, well, we were really hoping to get 2. Whatever. It's hockey, man. And they come fast and furious, and the ride is relentless, usually. And so, yeah. So, I mean, what a perfect – I'm sure everything's been said. Nobody needs to hear me rehash Sunday. But what a perfect re-entry into the world of the playoffs. It's like despair for 2.5 hours or 2 hours. Despair. But then they were playing badly, but they could not score, and they're losing 2-0.
Disappointment.
Yeah, disappointment. Like I said, we left. Like, let's go watch the rest of us in the room. Now, again, we weren't disappointing anyone. We were the only people there watching the hockey game. Let's just go back to the room and just sort of, start licking wounds and figuring out how to posit how disappointing this is and whatever. And then it just flipped on its head, and then it's absolute euphoria for what hours after the game ended. Like I enjoyed watching the scenes of people leaving the arena as much as watching the highlights of the plays, of the goals, and hearing the reaction. Like just seeing people experience that level of emotion again about the hockey team is very hard for me to keep at arm's length. I want it pouring over me at all times, because that's how I feel about the hockey team. And when I see it manifest itself like that, it's just awesome.
Well, 2-0 as it clicks under 8 minutes, 1-10, it'd be like a 2 or a 3, because they weren't getting dominated, but they were getting shut out at home in the first playoff game in 15 years. So, it was pretty low. Thompson from behind the net, okay. 6. I mean, there's enough time here left where they could get one more. I was saying yesterday how in my house I said, just get me to midnight. Get this game to midnight.
It is game night as the Buffalo Sabres are looking to take a 2-0 series lead on the Boston Bruins. Pregame will technically get started at 6 when Paul Hamilton joins the show. It's a 7:30 puck drop, and of course, both are going to be right here on WGR. Bruins head coach Marco Sturm did say there's not going to be any lineup changes from Game 1, while for the Sabres, it looks to be the same according to what we saw this morning at the morning skate. Good news, though, as well. Both Noah Austin and Colton Ellis were seen on the ice for the Sabres. Around the rest of the league, we do have 3 other games tonight. Montreal-Tampa will actually get the night underway at 7. 9:30, Vegas is hosting Utah. Then at 10, the Kings are in Denver versus Colorado. Avs, Knights, and Canadiens each have the 1-0 series leads. And speaking of the NHL and the playoffs, the Sabres are, of course, back in the playoffs. And WGR Sports Radio 550 is your home for every moment of the run. Grab your Let's Go Buffalo playoff signs now at Lenco Supplies, featuring incredible discounts going on now. And get there with your Liberty Cab, your ride on time every time. Former Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin is heading to television. As Andrew Marchand of The Athletic is reporting, Tomlin will be joining NBC as a studio analyst for Football Night in America. And it is draft week. We're going to touch base with Sal Capaccio coming up next. And Thursday's draft coverage with Nate Geary, Derek Kramer, and myself will be over on News Radio 930 WBEN, with Sabres Bruins Game 3 being on at the same time. Friday and Saturday, however, are going to be right here on WGR. And in baseball, the Bisons are back home. They're taking on the Clippers at 6:05. That game can be heard on our sister station, the Bet 1520. And then we've got Yankees-Red Sox at 6:45 in Boston. 7:10, Mets trying to end an 11-game losing streak. They're going to host the Twins. And then at 9:38, the Jays, they're out west to take on the Angels. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
How do I do on that? The guitar, I came in, I think maybe like here with the guitar. What about with that thing?
Here's what I want to tell you. Know your role. When the guitar is playing, we need the little keyboard simulated sound. When the little keyboard sound is playing, we need the guitar to accompany it. So give me the guitar with that, and then I think we got something.
Do you know?
No.
That when I was in high school.
Probably not.
And I would be like the PA announcer for basketball games. I wouldn't do this for the big ones. You know, Christian Leitner and Nichols rolling in. You wouldn't see me do this for that game.
Right.
But for like the freshman games, I couldn't get enough of it. So I would do girls games, freshman games, JV. And I had a keyboard.
Get out of here.
And during timeouts, I would play ditties. Did you know that?
No. This has got to be made up.
Casio.
This cannot.
I had a little white.
Cannot be true.
Sal, it's true. You've seen worse. I had a white Casio keyboard like this big, like the size of an oboe, maybe. And you could, you know, how those were. You play different instruments, even though they all sounded mostly the same.
Commonly referenced size. Everyone else is going, oh, I know exactly what size an oboe is. Thanks, Mike.
What do you want? A flute. The size of it's not as long as a flute. A little shorter than a flute. But I'm talking about a musical instrument, a keyboard. And it was not as long as a flute, and I would play little da-da-da-da-da, little things, you know. Yeah. And the crowd would love it.
This is unbelievable to me.
Right? I can't be unbelievable. You guys, you know me pretty well.
also was a PA announcer for basketball games. I had a big yellow boombox. I put a cassette tape in. I'd play and just put the mic next to the darn speaker. That's what I did.
That's better.
You're over here
really great
doing
sound
a 5-piece
quality,
orchestra.
Yeah, that's right. I'm playing Rock 3 during timeouts at Grand Island NT JV games. No, I only knew like 2 songs.
Oh, my
but
God.
You change the instrument, right? They all kind of sound the same, and you go from like saxophone to trumpet,
Right.
and it's pretty much you can't tell which one is which. That was me. All right. Hey, Sal, you and I talked yesterday. Did we get into enough about maybe Brandon Beane stuff yesterday? We talked about Michael Hoyt, I know a little bit, and some draft ideas. Was there more, when you think about it, was there more to say about what, the media availability from yesterday, or no?
Sure, there was some really interesting stuff from Brandon, I thought. From my perspective, stuff I was going back and listening to again today, and, he told a fascinating story to me. I mean, not to me. To me, the story was fascinating. Sorry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he told it to everybody, but to me it was fascinating. And it was about Christian Benford. And he was trying to really kind of give a picture of how do you evaluate guys who come from smaller schools but don't play as good of a competition. And he used Christian Benford as an example. And he said, we were fortunate to get Christian where we did in the 6th round. He said, no, at the end of the day, we could have got him in the 4th round. We'd be fortunate now, knowing who he is and what he can do. But he said when they were watching film, what you do is you can't compare a lot of times these small school guys watching their body of work because they're against other small school guys who aren't going to play in the league. Like, if you want to project a guy how well he's going to play in the league, you can't really go against, the bad competition. So you got to find the spots, where they went against.
Benford shutting down somebody from UMass is probably not going to go a long way towards telling you whether he can play in the NFL or not.
100%. But you know what happened to him? So I'm thinking he's going to tell this story as he's going. I'm thinking, oh, he's going to say how he went against some SEC guy and had a great day. It's actually just the opposite. He said he went against Johan Dotson of Penn State. Now, Christian went to Villanova, in case people don't know. He went against Johan Dotson of Penn State, and Johan Dotson beat him pretty badly that day. Got behind him a couple times. Christian had a bad day.
1st round pick.
He said, so that probably dinged him in the draft. The Bills, just like everybody were evaluating, it wasn't like, oh my God, this is great. He said the reason why we still liked him was, even though that happened, we felt he showed enough to us that maybe he could translate to safety. He said when the Bills took him, they thought he's going to start out at corner, but maybe eventually, if he has to go to safety, we're comfortable with that. We like what we see in the body of work. We weren't scared off by that particular game. We'll still let him do that because we saw enough of him that maybe we can translate him to a different position. And you guys remember a year or two into Christian Benford's career, we were sitting here talking about that.
Yes.
There's a couple things I'm thinking of here.
While we were still hopeful that Elam was recoverable and could become a starting level player, you were trying to find, who's going to eventually replace Poyer and Hyde and all that. Yeah, sure.
I really found that to be a really cool anecdote type of story.
Sure. Jahan Dotson went before Elam. That's how early he was as a prospect in the 1st round out of Penn State.
Yeah.
There's a couple things here. One is, are we getting into AI yet at these press conferences? Like more and more stuff out there about teams who might not even do the combine anymore because they can evaluate the lesser school, if you will, the lesser school players. That's kind of this Benford point, and track their speed like they never were able to do, and other kind of measurables through the computer. So, maybe you go to the combine or a pro day, guy has a bad day, but you have data now on what they're able to do on the field, which I'm not sure it'll make the combine moot ever, but that's an interesting thing. I think you're starting to hear San Francisco, you're starting to hear teams talk about today, right? Just sort of like what the game is changing, to put it in short.
If you can scout college football and know how often a defensive back, for instance, or doesn't matter, but how often a corner in this case, because we're talking about Benford, how fast he is in his back pedal, or how quickly he's running during gameplay, right? A guy beats him at the line of scrimmage and he catches up. How quickly does he get to his speed, and how often does he reach his top speed? That can offset how well he does in the 40 at the combine, because you've got maybe 20 examples of him being the evidence is overwhelming. He's fast enough. But if he doesn't run a good 40, maybe that's one of these deals where the GM that has all that data, maybe they all should, is going, go ahead, run slow. That's fine.
Yeah, that was the second thing I was going to say.
Because we know your
wanted
play
that.
speed has been proven. We all know it. It's fast as hell.
Who was the player we wanted to have run slow? And then maybe even Bean Sal himself said.
That was Gabe Davis.
Davis, okay, that's good for us.
Yeah, it was Gabe Davis. There was somebody else too, I think, Keon Coleman maybe. There was something about that last year because of all the Keon Coleman stuff. So a lot on this. First of all, it was yesterday actually that John Lynch spoke. Today I saw it. He said if you're not using AI, then you're already behind. Just like his quote was, you at home planning a travel itinerary, you can just ask the thing and it can spit out pretty good things, some pretty good ideas. Yesterday, Brandon Beane made some headlines because of what he said about AI. Did you guys see this?
No.
Oh, it made me think of Bulldog, actually. Brandon Beane said when he was asked about AI, he wasn't asked about AI. My apologies. He was asked about like something coming out with prospects and how things can change on a moment's notice. And he said, quote, barring something like a gas mask popping up, if you guys want to put any, he joked then, if you guys want to put any really talented players using AI, we'll take them.
I see.
Barring a
he
gas
was
mask.
using AI as a, hey, there's a lot of stuff you have to be careful about out there.
Right, but
I'm sorry. So it was asked. The question was, I'm looking now. I'm trying to remember what the question was. The question was something about that, like how do you know what's real and what's not, maybe things like that. So anyway, that's what he said, and he mentioned the gas mask from Laramie Tunsil and Bulldog Tunsil's gas masks, right?
Right.
What's your team name,
right? That is still my only fantasy football team's name. Yes.
Yeah.
So it's being like jokingly saying like make some AI created, punitive looking pictures of guys that we want to draft so they fall to us. Is that basically the gist of what he's
here's
saying?
the full quote. My apologies. Thank you. He said, you do a rundown. These are the guys we are pretty sure there's less than 1% chance they'll be there, barring something like a gas mask or something popping up.
Right.
So if you guys want to put any players who are really talented using AI to help us get them,
Gotcha.
We'll take them. And he laughed about it, which is interesting. So the AI stuff is real. I don't love it, okay? I'm kind of old school like this. Yana loves using ChatGPT. She does it a lot. In our lives, what we do, we talk for a living. We communicate for a living. That's what I've done my whole life. I have kind of prided myself on being a communicator my whole life. That's what I've done. I don't like I'll do something. She'll say, why don't you have ChatGPT just write it up? Why don't you have AI? And I'm like, no, I don't do that. That doesn't sound like Sal Capaccio. I don't want to do that. But it is amazing when you do it, right? They really do have incredible technology. So very good example was, Mike, you got this fantasy hockey league that we're doing for the playoffs.
Yep.
And I had to come up with a team name, and I wrote Team Capaccio. And I said, and Yana gave me the suggestion, and I did it, to have ChatGPT ask it to come up with a fantasy hockey team name using Sabres names.
Okay, I was going to guess, but you said that last part. So.
And it did. And my team, I changed it to were the Dalai Lamas.
Yeah. Yeah,
ChatGPT created that for me.
That's a thing. I mean, if you're in fantasy football in a home league, at least a third of the teams have names like that are puns off player names.
I didn't think of it. It was just, but that's what I mean. Like, it's crazy. So anyway, a little bit of a tangent, but the world has changed. I would not be a good general manager, front office person knowing all of this because I would want to not trust that as much as it seems like they are trusting it.
Well, I'm very much like you in sort of being afraid of it. Not that you said you were afraid of it, but just sort of opting out because I'm like you in sort of how I show myself to the world. And if somebody else can just do that, to me is very depressing. I think there are lots of benefits that I couldn't even begin to delineate or list. And, there are lots of times, too, like Twitter right now, Quinn Hughes of Vancouver Canucks stopped skating on puck believed to go wide. Like, this is how Minnesota lost, because Quinn Hughes was apparently still on Vancouver. Made a mistake in the game, and they lost to Dallas. I mean, there's just too much going wrong with this, But that'll get better, I think, in terms or worse, if you want to look at it that way. But those mistakes will start to dry up.
Right. You'd expect it would have. We're still pretty new here.
Yeah.
In this era.
I mean, so a couple weeks ago, you guys probably saw I did a video. I played drums wearing the Iron Mafia shirt from 26 Shirts, right? And like it was like a Throwback Thursday. They asked me to do the shirt, and I went on. I'm wearing the Iron Mafia shirt. And I'm like, this is Eddie. Eddie is the mascot for Iron Maiden. He's actually the inspiration for the Poltergeist monster, by the way. I don't know if you guys know that. So that's in the hallway there. Right. That's Eddie. And so Max says to me, if you watch, he goes, you should have Eddie should be wearing a Josh Allen jersey. So I said, let me play around with this. And I literally went to ChatGPT and I said, create a picture of Eddie from Iron Maiden wearing a Josh Allen jersey. And I was blown away. It was just unbelievable to me that this thing did it like that.
Let's get to some dirt here, Sal. The draft comes up on Thursday night, round 1. I was looking at over-unders today, and I got the sense again that the props are telling you how bad the draft is. We've talked about this with different analysts, and there would be a range of opinions. Do you feel like it's safe to consider this draft, bad? I mean, is it too hard to predict what'll happen, or are you more like me? I feel like it's probably pretty safe. I'm gullible. I'll be watching hockey, but I might be to like sort of pick 6 or 7 of this thing. Like, who is anybody else at this point, except for the receivers we've talked about later in the first round. So I don't know. Enthusiasm for this draft is not great for me.
I think a lot of reasons we talk about the enthusiasm. Sabres have a lot to do with it. Bills picking 26th. I don't know if we talked about this yesterday because I don't remember yesterday versus this morning with Jeremy and Joe, but really good point on something else Brandon Bean talked about with this. So I specifically asked him this question about, hey, a lot of analysts say this is not the best draft, especially near the top. He, by the way, did answer another question saying they have on the lower end of what they normally do for first-round talented grades, first-round grades, lower end, okay? But then part of it was he also said this draft, because of the COVID year that happened with a lot of college athletes 5-6 years ago.
Older guys.
And because of the NIL and guys saying, I'm going to go back to school to get some money now, I can get paid and just stay in school. He said that's created an older draft. So instead of drafting 21, 22-year-olds, a lot of this draft is more 22, 23-year-olds, 24-year-olds, considering all of that than usual. So what that kind of really lends itself to is, guys, you're kind of drafting more for a floor for those guys than you are for a ceiling for the younger guys. Those guys kind of already are where they are in a lot of ways, right? So you've seen a lot of them, a lot more of them in college than maybe you did before, which is a good thing. But the reason why they're still in college and they're not considered this high-end talent, there's got to be, at that age, you're like, okay, well, we're drafting a guy to come onto our team, but that's not a smash, right? So I think there's a lot of really interesting stuff in there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think, we're obviously obsessed and rightly so with what's going on with the hockey team. And I think so a lot of, speaking as a show, but as a fan, I think the combination of, the reviews the prospects are getting and our attention being as divided as it is, there's also this, Sal. I mean, Bean is not who comes to mind if I ask you, what's the soonest a draft pick had an impact on this team since Josh Allen? I mean, Josh Allen obviously has transformed the whole operation. It took a few years to get up and running, but obviously you could see it. It was coming, and it blasted off. Like the high picks, last year Hairston is hurt. The year before that is Coleman, and it's just sort of like I don't know. Like I feel like maybe riding along in a sidecar with the expectations that fans have about go win your 12 games, all that matters is January, is kind of like, I don't know, tell me when you do something that's going to really move the meter for this team in a draft. Immediately speaking,
obviously, I think you're talking about higher picks, but you could pick on a guy like Deion Walker had a nice year last year, right?
Sure,
but,
you did, yeah.
Yeah, that's not a oh my God. Like, when's the last time they had a guy in the Rookie of the Year conversation, right? Something like that. A guy that really stepped in. I mean, I guess there have been guys. Tyler Bass had a nice rookie year. Max Harrison, when he played last year, he came in, he looked good. I think Christian Benford might kind of be a guy like this because he did play quite a bit his rookie year. Mm-hmm. But you're right. But I've always, and look, I know that there's definitely something to be said for, you have to be better. Matt Bove and I did a great exercise, I thought, for It's Always Game Day in Buffalo last year at this time. It was last year. And my contention was Brandon Bean has just as many hits or misses as Brett Veach in Kansas City. He does. The difference is Brett Veach just has more guys. The Kansas City Chiefs have more guys that have just become all-pros, first team.
Right.
But he actually has more guys that have busted out and have done nothing. Even his early picks have done nothing. It just doesn't feel like that because look where Kansas City is, and you see some of these guys. So we went and we actually did a side-by-side. We compared and we talked about it. And I do believe, like, the Bills could be better at those early picks. There's no doubt. I also don't think that they're, like, Brandon Beane has been some miserable failure compared to the rest of his counterparts when it comes to overall drafting. If you do look at some of the better teams in the league, they have just as many of these guys. In fact, the Bills might have more guys who have really contributed later in the draft, which seems to be where their strength is. Now, that said, I think that part of the reason why the Bills haven't had what we're talking about here is because they have a good roster now. And it's harder to make an impact earlier, even if the guy might be a really good player or make a bigger impact in another team.
Kiko Alonso won the Pro Football Writers Association Defensive Rookie of the Year in 2013. The AP winner was someone else. And for the Bills to win either, you go back to Shane Conlon before that. And, Benford, this is not a strike against the Benford pick, need I say so, but they did pick Elam in the first round.
That's right.
So right. You had some pressure he's lucky he was able to get in. If Elam's okay, do we ever see Benford? But he was worse than that.
I got kind of tangled up. Really, my point overall is I think I would understand if the fan base is kind of like, okay, pick your defensive lineman, and we'll see in September, because that's kind of, it's predictable. It's still a need, even though they've thrown lots of assets at it. And right now, I think it's reasonable for a fan to be like, yeah, it'll be a rotational guy. Thanks. Okay, great. Like T.J. Sanders, right, is going into year 2. They moved up to get him in the second round, and I still have a need at that position. And I don't know, that doesn't sit right, I think, exactly.
Yeah, I think, though, part of that is because of the shift in scheme. I think part of it, right? Yep. Maybe. Mm-hmm. But you're right. They have questions at defensive tackle. There's no doubt. I agree with you, Bulldog. I still say, we could debate it because there's a couple areas where it depends on what a fan might feel, but I'll tell you kind of what I think the Bills feel about it. But how many starting positions are actually open on this team? If they believe Dorian, you could argue off-ball linebacker, but that could also be they feel Dorian Williams is a starter. That's fine. That's a question mark of maybe one. I do think there's a defensive tackle, a nose guard, like a true nose guard type of opening, but they do have guys up front, I think, that are going to play. I don't think there's a starting job at defensive end, and I don't think there's a necessary starting job at wide receiver right now, even though that's probably the biggest area we talk about in offense. The only one truly up for grabs when they go to camp might be offensive guard. That's it. And there's guys there that are going to compete for it.
Yankees, Red Sox in Fenway. Bulldog, any interest in the Yankees, given that the Bruins and Sabres are playing? Might you sort of lean toward our home state in this series, or no? It doesn't work like that for you?
No.
Still Yankees?
No.
Or still Red Sox, rather?
Yeah. I also won't pay any attention to the baseball game. But, okay.
I'll check my phone at the game tonight every once in a while. That's about it.
You have an hour before the hockey game. Almost an hour of baseball.
Most of that will be eaten up by being inside KeyBank Center getting ready because it's so incredible to be there.
Right, yeah.
Also, you have Yasavage pitching for the Bisons if you want to get down there at 6.
Right.
It's $2 hot dogs.
You get a few innings of that before you go to the hockey game, I suppose.
All right.
Yeah.
I think it's $2 hot dogs tonight, which...
I think the other hockey game is a half hour before tonight, right? 7 o'clock start with Canadians and Lightning.
Mm-hmm.
$2 hot dogs is a nice little run-up to hockey.
It's hard to beat.
Get there and pay $15.
Get a good base down.
All right, Sal, have fun tonight.
All right, guys, thanks a lot.
That's our dude Sal Capaccio on the Wester Hotline. His appearances are brought to you by New York's only outlet Liquor. When you need to stock up, it's the place to buy a case. What's your outlet?
I'm trying to make sure it was $2 hot dogs. I saw it the other day. Tops Dog Day at the ballpark. Tuesday. $2 hot dogs.
There it is, with authority.
Bam. Blue Jays won last night in Anaheim. Guerrero crushed one. Maybe you were too busy with Anaheim, Edmonton or something. But a bomb to center, 430 feet.
I did nothing but watch hockey yesterday from, I don't know, we got on our last flight home short from Chicago to here just as Pittsburgh-Philly was starting. And the staggered, like Sal just mentioned, was perfect. Ottawa, Carolina for a bit, back to Pittsburgh, Philly. We landed. Pittsburgh, Philly ended. I saw all the overtimes of Ottawa, Carolina, and then hung with the Edmonton game for a while. I didn't see much of Minnesota, Dallas. I saw Minnesota take a lead, and then I didn't see what happened from there.
1-1 now.
Right.
Sabres and Bruins pregame at 6:30, but we're going to get a jump on that. Paul Hamilton will join us at 6. We might have Gary Bettman live down at the arena tonight, and then some lengthier interviews, but why not? What do you think going into Game 2? Your thoughts on the euphoric atmosphere in the opener and whether or not it built your confidence for the rest of the Sabres' chances. I mean, I'm hesitating because, there's another game tonight, and the whole thing could sound different tomorrow. I want to get as much juice out of that opener as I can. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here at 803-0550. This is WGR.
Right.
And I'll take it. And then you have the second goal, which I just have been obsessing about. I'll get back to that.
I saw some of your obsessing. Good.
I
think it's a very good catch.
You sound like you know what happened.
I have a good guess.
Okay, I can't wait to find out.
All right.
So Thompson makes it 2-2. Then I'm like an 8 because we're even.
Right.
And they're the better team in this game. I'm not going to use momentum because I don't care about that. But still,
they're rolling.
I mean, I got 4 minutes and a tie. I'll take it at home.
Yeah.
And then Samuelson is that's euphoric. And then Thompson again makes a great play on that empty net goal just to bank it off the glass and out perfectly to Tuck. Some luck in that, but 4-2. When Boston made it 4-3, I was laughing hilariously at home. Just
Right.
That's funny. And then it's over. So now to whatever everybody else says, you haven't won anything yet, but great night and good enough start to feel
right.
like you could make a run here.
Yeah, the overall here, I mean, remove the euphoria and the drama of the comeback and, how long it took for them to finally get on the board and everything else. To me, they were clearly the better team. It looked like the matchup to me that validated wanting to play the Bruins.
Yes.
Right? They really, you were going to have the puck all the time. Turned out the Sabres were initiating the physicality in the game, was something I wasn't exactly expecting. It's a weird combination to have the puck as much as they had the puck and also out-hit the team you're playing, because usually that's the other way around. You don't have the pucks, you're chasing and you're hitting people, trying to get something going your way, whatever. So, yeah, now it's just I feel really good about the series, recognizing that, tonight could be the same script, except, somehow Thompson doesn't get that second goal because Swayman doesn't mysteriously lift his leg for reasons that I will guess about whenever you want me to.
Okay.
So it's still going to be super tight. I mean, look at these games so far, right?
No.
Yeah, sure. Philly shut out Pittsburgh 3-0 last night.
Still.
But everything has been nip and tuck here. L.A., Colorado. I saw a lot of that. And L.A. has to be going into this game tonight feeling like they did everything they wanted to do in that game.
Well, is that Boston too?
Maybe, yeah.
We should hope
that they were close. It was their game in a way. The goalie is supposed to be one of the strong parts of their team. So he was, and will continue to be. So I think it just really sets up kind of how I think a lot of us expected it to. And all that means is that you're probably in for 5 or 6 more games, just like Sunday.
It's not expected, hoped.
Hoped, sure.
Really,
yeah.
you base it on shot attempts and possession stats, and then give me the final score. I'm like, I'll take that game every time. Game 1.
Yeah.
But it was very stressful. I mean, Boston could not be scored on, and Luukkonen was sort of that Luukkonen that's a little bit all over the place for much of the game. Didn't engender, to me anyway, tons of confidence. And he's still a question mark, I think, going forward in this, but got it done. He's had a fine season.
Those 2 breakaway saves on Pasternak were massive.
That's right.
Massive plays in that game. 3-0. I mean, I don't know how much more demoralized the crowd could have gotten than it was. already a 2-0. Well, actually, those
would have made it
breakaways-
2.
Yeah, those were both in the second period.
Still.
So what? But either way, like it's 2-0 in the second instead of it. It would have been a lot, I think. But
well,
you know,
those
who
are
knows?
plays. Would you not agree? Those are plays where he is right in position.
Oh, yeah.
Like he's not flailing to make those
No,
saves.
no, right.
They're
I
not
mean,
lucky.
It's pretty straightforward what's happening. Here comes David Pastrnak coming, and you can even gauge what he may be capable of doing, left or right, deking, shooting, based on pressure coming and whatever. Like, those plays are not all created equal.
Right. The second one, he's kind of forced to go left.
Right.
And then there's a rebound that's also saved.
Yeah.
But yeah, right. I mean,
Those were huge. I mean, I need it be said. I mean, in tight playoff games, stopping the best goal scorer of the last 5 years in the league twice on breakaways is pretty big.
So I tweeted after talking about it at length the screenshot I picked of the Thompson goal right before he shoots the puck. And I mean, dozens of takes, and I've loved all of it because not.
Game night tonight for the Buffalo Sabres, and they're looking to take a 2-0 series lead on the Boston Bruins. Pregame technically is going to get underway at 6 for a 7:30, 7:40-ish puck drop. Both, of course, going to be right here on WGR. No lineup changes for the Bruins tonight, according to head coach Marco Sturm, and the same for the Buffalo Sabres, getting that from what we saw on the morning skate earlier today from our own Paul Hamilton. And then some good news on the injury front. Both Noah Austin and Colton Ellis were back on the ice for the Sabres. We do have 3 other games tonight. Montreal at Tampa. We'll get the night underway at 7. 9:30, Vegas is hosting Utah. And then at 10, the Kings are in Denver versus Colorado. And the Avs, Knights, and Canadians each have a 1-0 series lead. Former Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin is heading to television. Andrew Marchand of The Athletic is reporting that Tomlin will be joining NBC as a studio analyst for Football Night in America. And then in baseball, the Bisons are back home. They're taking on the Clippers at 6:05. That can be heard on our sister station, the Bet 1520. While in the majors, we've got Yankees Red Sox at 6:45 in Boston. 7:10, Mets trying to end an 11-game losing streak. They're going to host the Twins. And then at 9:38, the Jays, they're out west to take on the Angels. It's Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
Buffalo Boston right now is so fun to watch. This is what sports are all about, is a long awaited playoff game in a city like Buffalo. And I got to give them a shout out because it looked like one of the greatest atmospheres I've heard, I've seen, just all the above. That city breathes a good time, a cold one, some sort of success. A team like that is so new to it, 14 years of pain in that city with that team, and for them to get that one and then that crowd pop, it's really cool to see just that building rocking again.
Matthew Tkachuk. This is like when Tom Brady said something that you liked. You're like, oh no. My Tom Brady armor is cracking. I might have to like him. I mean, Tkachuk is saying, I think, a mostly obvious thing here.
Yeah. Yeah.
At the risk of being so biased.
He's acknowledging something that, I honestly, I wouldn't have been surprised if he had no opinion about Buffalo. Because when he's been here, I mean, I think it's mostly been, like, since his career, it's been a dead zone.
I would say that maybe except for one thing, his father.
Right.
Not that he played against the Sabres very often, Keith Tkachuk.
Yep.
But he did, I'm stereotyping, I'm guessing. He did grow up in a house.
Sure.
Where you would have known the NHL and been to cities and had a lay of the land.
Yeah.
But, that's not to, I'm not trying to, contradict your point.
Tkachuk is also, for me, not a Tom Brady level villain.
Even his brother?
Even his brother.
Okay.
I have a hard time with hockey players sometimes because sometimes the most boisterous, opinionated ones, like that's their style and they kind of play that way. And I like guys who play that way. Like I like both of those guys as players a lot. they're gross. Like if we were in a playoff series with either of them, it would be really annoying. But I appreciate the way they go about it.
I know you're right.
And look, not that I couldn't have.
Can't root for that guy in life.
No, I know. No, I'm going to talk this through because like none of it has really mattered until now. Like next year, this could all change. Like Brady was ruining our lives by beating us all the time, and the Bills never got anywhere. Just like the Sabres haven't gotten anywhere since either Kachuk brothers long before they were in the league, and now that they're in the league for. What are they, 7-8 years into their careers? So they were around for half of this drought that we've experienced. They've never been a problem to me because I didn't really care who was, in my way and who was being dirty or cheap or whatever. Because I'm watching the league and I can see the impact you're having on your team and I respect it. Now it'll change. Like next year, playing Florida and playing Ottawa, and maybe even playing Ottawa this year. Who knows? They're down 2-0, but they don't have to, roll over here. They're going home. Close games. But those two guys, I don't know. This isn't like the Olympics or anything because I'm not that guy. Like, USA, paint my face or anything. I like both of those players.
So who do you not like in hockey? Who's the prototype of a player that you don't like? Big but soft or French Canadian?
French Canadian, yes. Yeah, start right there. Yes, anybody that's French.
Anybody from Saskatoon?
Yeah. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I'm prepared to give you a good answer to your question. It's a good question.
Normally, it could be a Sabres player when they're bad.
Yeah.
That would come to mind. I also have not been in shape rooting against the so-called bad guys of the rest of the league because I've been too mad at my own team.
Right. That's really the point I'm trying to make. The thing is, I'm trying to differentiate Brady and Brady.
Tom Brady,
and it's the same thing. The Bills were not relevant, but yet he still stands out in a way that these guys don't yet, and I'm not sure why that is exactly. It might be the supermodel wife. Just NFL is just such a higher plateau of stardom that it's harder to avoid I don't know. These guys aren't in my hair, I guess, yet. They probably will be. Who do I not like?
I'll tell you what else makes this maybe challenging. I thought in Game 1, Boston was a bunch of sweethearts. Really, there was no Brady Kachuk fighting on the opening faceoff moment.
Right.
Anything close to that. Agree? I mean, what was it? The Sabres were the more physical team.
Mm-hmm.
They won the game. I didn't have anything where I thought that I can remember right now that was like
anyone where I felt like taken advantage of or we didn't have the right response to. Yeah, no, there was really nothing.
Marco Sturm, their coach, had that comment before the series about how the Bruins were bigger and more physical. I never believed him. Like, that's provably wrong. I think you're trying to sell something here that maybe people will listen to, but I never wanted it for like a narrative because it's not true.
Right, I thought in some way he's trying to just plant a seed with the refs. Like, we're gonna be,
or his own team.
Yeah, we're gonna hit them. We're gonna be on them. Really, we're gonna grab them. And like, because we're big and physical, don't assume that we're committing penalties. That's all I thought that was myself. I don't know that I'm right about that, but that's what I thought. Because the stats, whatever. It's not a true statement.
No, right. When Philadelphia did it with Hitchcock, I'm sorry, again, ancient history, but he's right. Can I win anyway?
Right.
And this was like, well, that's not even really true. I mean, I don't know. The Sabres were great Sunday. And good thing that they got there, which was an amazing experience for the fans and the players too. I love how Paul mentioned yesterday the celebration on the glass after the Samuelson goal. And like Dahlin and McLeod are off their feet jumping in there. And he says he used a Getty Images picture where McLeod is off his feet in the shot. Like it's you can't deny the excitement of the players there. And, good for them. I mean, how could you not be caught up in it, I guess? But, Boston didn't really, to put it another way, bother me in the opener. It really wasn't that much to deal with. They scored a couple. Couldn't score on them until pretty late. But otherwise, was not a stupid game. Ever.
Maybe Boston doubles down and tries to do that.
That's the 06 Flyers. Go for it.
Right. Yeah, that's how you lose 8-0. If you get there. I mean, I don't sense the separation between these teams as much as Buffalo, I think, really, it was their game. Boston just happened to have the lead for most of it, which can happen in hockey. I don't think there's a separation between Buffalo and Boston like there was then with Buffalo and Philly. Like I don't think Boston is a bunch of aircraft carriers. There's no Kevin Hatcher playing here.
Darian Hatcher,
thank you. Younger brother of Kevin Hatcher.
Yeah.
Rathje, right? Holy cow!
Bring it on.
Amazing.
Well, I would say you might be right. There was a comment from Sturm after the game, though, about something like, this is how we have to play them. So maybe they push the envelope on dirty.
Mm-hmm.
The Sabres power play is bad.
That's right.
So you could,
if you want to deter them from taking penalties, you're going to have to actually score.
Yeah, that's right. We didn't have that problem in 06.
No.
They win the net. And the Bruins goalie is much better than the Flyers goalie in that series. So, I mean, it's a playable strategy. You see it in hockey all the time. If they wanted to get stupid in this game and take their chances on PK and with Swayman, they could. And hopefully, in my opinion, the Sabres don't get tilted by it.
Overreact.
Right. And, we got Logan Stanley, so, I mean, hopefully Josh Dunn, even.
Right.
I would not want to see them fall for that. Take their chances on the power play. And I say that now. I mean, is bad too strong?
They're riding like an 0 for 20-something streak, right, that goes back into the regular season. I think, were they 0-6? I mean, they might be 0 for the last 20.
Some, at least.
I think I saw 0 for 16 to close the season and then 0 for 4 on Sunday night.
Okay.
So, yeah, bad is not too strong. It's definitely something that's ebbed and flowed as the years gone, which is good. Ebb or flow. It's up and down, and right now it's down.
Which is good? Which is the good one?
The ebb or the flow? I don't know.
The ebb or the flow?
I think they're equals.
I think they're kind of just the same, only one is out, one is in.
Right.
But maybe not up and down, just in and out.
Right.
Ebb and flow.
So it doesn't really fit.
No, it's fine. The highs and lows make it easier to understand. The highs are the good. The lows are the bad.
That's how I usually do it.
Ebbs and flows. Flows are not lows.
And ebbs are not
Lebs.
Debs. Let's take a break.
Montreal, Tampa tonight, game 2. Then game 3 is Friday, I think, in that one, isn't it? Or it's not Thursday.
I have not gone hard on the schedule from here on out.
Game 3 is Friday night
in
that series. So on Thursday, we line up with Ottawa and Carolina. And Montreal goes to Friday.
Oh, okay, because they got an extra day. Because they would be if they were going every. So, okay.
They'd be tomorrow, but they're not.
They're not.
So game 3 in Ottawa is Thursday. Game 3 in Boston is Thursday. Game 3 in Montreal is
Friday.
Game 3 in Pittsburgh is tomorrow. Philadelphia.
Right.
That's
going
tomorrow.
Home up 2-0. That's pretty tasty.
Yeah, and that looks legit, I think.
They are just smothering the Penguins. I saw most of the front, the front two. I really just didn't see the third period of this game. And I think midway through the second, Pittsburgh literally had 3 shots on goal.
So the only hockey I watched last night was most of the first period of that game before I didn't feel well. And Pittsburgh, kind of like the Sabres a little bit on Sunday, got chances. There was one Thompson chance on Sunday where it looked like Swayman saved it off the shaft of his stick. Like he was going top corner, but it hit the stick.
Mm-hmm.
The Penguins were just missing. And I was thinking that watching the game, they're getting – then the game got kind of dumb with high-sticking penalties. But before that, the Penguins had a few good looks and just could not hit the net. And late in the first period, they showed a graphic close to this, if not exactly this. 19 shot attempts, 2 shots on goal.
That was, yeah. I think when I saw 3 shots close to halfway through, I think it was like that number was 26. 26 shot attempts, 3 shots on goal. They ended up with 27 shots on goal. So they got some pucks at Vladar as that, once I left the game, they got some action, but they got shut out.
Risto. See Risto and Crosby?
Yes.
Kind of cool.
Risto punched him right in the head.
And then he's like, what? Well, let me tell you what. You punched him literally in the head. Probably wanted Crosby to go with him.
Was probably hoping.
He wasn't. Hopefully he wasn't. I didn't do anything.
Right.
Because you did sort of right to the head.
Crosby definitely did not punch him in the head.
No.
That I can be sure of.
Yep. But Flyers got away with it. Shutout win. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here at 803-0550. Your calls are welcome. This is WGR.
Folks, Bulldog here for Window Nation.
Everybody's on the same page with that, and almost none of us have ever played the game on a level where we would have any idea, sort of like, oh, but he would have scouted Swayman at the Olympics. Thanks.
Yeah.
How helpful is that? Maybe it's maybe it's irrelevant. So there was a great wide range of opinions on that goal. What do you think?
I think one of the first comments, well, I shouldn't say it that way. One of the only comments I saw from your Twitter feed discussing this goal, I think had it right away, is that there's a defender's stick that is coming in.
Zadorov.
Right? And he's reaching there, and I think he gets just enough of Thompson's stick to throw the shot off. I don't think Thompson shoots it where he intended to shoot it.
Okay.
I think Zadorov, and I think Swayman's behavior, I don't think it makes sense to lift your leg unless he's thinking, I mean, I think he's got the glove, he's got the corner covered. So he should be thinking, if he tries to go top shelf, I've got him. Because, like, the angle he's at, he's not getting it over my glove into the corner, right? So I've got that. But I'm guessing Swayman is reading Thompson's stick angle, right? Because we talked about this. You can't just wait for the puck to be in the air. Mm-hmm. You are looking at hands. You're looking at the angle of the blade, everything.
All in milliseconds.
Right. It's all just super microprocessor. And I'm guessing Swayman, he lifts his leg because he thinks Thompson is trying to beat him above the pad under the glove, which is a pretty common place to shoot now on goalies because goalies are so structured. They're in the butterfly. Ostensibly, they should be taking away the bottom of the net where Thompson scores on Swayman if they're sealed to the ice in the butt. I'm going in a butterfly here for people not watching. And
how could you not be watching?
So you're down there. So how wide are the pads? Right, 5-6 inches. You've got that, and then the glove is here. So in between the pad and the glove,
well,
on both sides is a pretty common place to shoot now. And I'm guessing he thought that, and rather than bring the glove down, because he thinks he's going high, so I don't want to assume he can't try to pick the corner. I'm going to lift my leg
Sabres at 7:40. Bison's at 6 downtown, and they have $2 hot dogs.
And a major league pitcher starting the ball game.
Trey Savage is starting the game for the Bisons. They're playing Columbus.
I believe I read that this should be it for his rehab stint. So if you had a mind to want to see him, tonight's your chance.
Yep. Columbus Clippers tonight. Used to be I was never a Clippers guy.
Okay.
But one of my favorite, maybe my number one favorite memory, and there's a dark side to it, would have been working for the Red Wings in Rochester in Columbus. I drove to a series there. I remember it was a 4-game series. And the cool thing was that you realize over the years that you're watching Bernie Williams, Derek Jeter, Posada, Pettit. I think they might have been all on that 95 Clippers team. I got to check on Bernie. I never remember him for sure. I remember Posada making the last out at a game against the Red Wings, and I had a one-on-one with Jeter, and Pettit he pitched against him. Alex Ochoa. Remember Alex Ochoa?
I know the name,
When the Mets traded Bobby Bonilla to Baltimore, they got Ochoa, and he was in Rochester. And he and I were talking in Columbus about Pettit. He's like, that's the best pitcher I've ever seen. And it was sort of like Twilight. They just couldn't. Rivera too. Rivera threw a no-hitter that year as a starter.
Wow.
So being there, and they weren't all famous yet.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody on the Red Wing staff had to tell me who Jeter was. Like he was already kind of a big deal. I'd never heard of him. So there was that. But before one of those games.
Was he wearing 2 in the minors?
I think he was. Yeah. I'm not positive, but I think he was. Before one of those games in Columbus, they had me down on the field to help with taking infield. So one of the coaches, just third base line, batting grounders out to the infield. Somebody's in the cage hitting, and, throws the ball, hits the ball out to shortstop, throws the ball to first baseman throws the ball to me. That was the routine. And there was one throw from first that came in short. And I, just not thinking, went out onto the field. I crossed the third, like Moonlight Grant. I crossed the third base line onto the field to get the ball, and everybody sensed it immediately and screamed.
Like, yeah,
someone's in the cage.
You're in danger. Yeah, right.
Do not cross that line.
Right.
So, I don't think they knew my name, or else they would have said my name.
Right.
I don't think they knew my name.
They just yelled, "Hey, guy!
Buddy! Dude! You! Back up! You could get killed." Bison in Columbus. Bison's yet to lose this year when leading after 8.
$2 hot dogs.
$2 hot dogs. That's right. I had one more baseball thing. Mentioned the Yankees already. Yankees-Red Sox starts tonight in Boston.
Angels hockey jerseys you mentioned.
Angels hockey jerseys I mentioned to you. They gave away 25,000 hockey jerseys last night.
That wasn't on the air. Okay.
In their game.
Yeah.
We got towels, little tiny towels.
Yeah. Nice.
25,000 hockey jerseys last night to Angels fans. First 25,000 in attendance. I didn't see them. They better not be super short. You can't call them hockey jerseys.
They're not hockey
short.
jerseys if they're not big.
Right. Where did Boston go wrong in Game 1? Can the Sabres do even better tonight? We'll talk about it some more next. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR.
your knees, and it's nothing to sneeze at. Oh, I've told you over and over again. You gotta get both hands around it and make your own plans. Roller coaster, it's taking over. It's about time.
Game night as the Buffalo Sabres looking to take a 2-0 series lead on the Boston Bruins. Pregame is going to start at 6 as Paul Hamilton will join the show for a 7:40 puck drop. Both, of course, going to be right here on WGR. Bruins head coach Marco Sturm said there is not going to be any lineup changes for the Bruins, and the same is true for the Sabres, at least based on the looks we got from morning skate early today, according to our own Paul Hamilton. But some good injury news. Both Noah Austin and Colton Ellis were back on the ice for Buffalo. There's 3 other games tonight. Montreal at Tampa at 7, 9:30. Vegas is hosting Utah. And then at 10, the Kings are in Denver versus Colorado. The Avs, Knights, and Canadiens each have a 1-0 series lead. Former Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin is heading to television. Andrew Marchand of The Athletic is reporting Tomlin is going to be joining the NBC Football Night in America broadcast as a studio analyst. And then in baseball, the Bisons are back home. They're taking on the Clippers at 6:05. That game is going to be on our sister station, the Bet 1520. Trey Savage is going to be on the bump tonight for the Bisons. We've got Yankees Red Sox at 6:45 in Boston. 7:10, the Mets trying to end an 11-game losing streak. They're going to take on the Twins. Then at 9:38, the Jays, they're out west as they face off against the Angels. That's Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
It's Mike Schopp.
Hey, put a little. I never get this line out the first time. It's not even good. Hey, put a little bit more in there, cowboy.
And the Bulldog.
What's your degree in?
Kicking ass and taking names.
On WGR Sports Radio 550.
Just took a walk. That's usually good. It can be bad. Because sometimes I have an idea that I'm not proud of. You want the other one? Let's do the other one.
Okay.
Sustainability. You know, setting this up, Game 2 is tonight. I'm not trying to rush anybody here. Earlier in the show, we got a call from a fan who talked about how he thought the Sabres' future looks so bright. And I don't think I want to fight against that. I don't know how I would do it. Why? How would you fight against it? Unless it's just sort of an organizational, laziness that returns. This is big that doesn't happen now. Mm-hmm. However this ends. So they're plenty young. They're not only young, right? I mean, their top forwards are not young. They're middle to older.
Sure, there's a case to be made to not give Alex Tuck an 8-year, $90 million contract.
There sure is. That's another one I don't need to do right now.
That's right. No, we'll worry when we get there. Let's just see what happens here. But no, like Thompson's their most important guy up there, and he's in his prime, but he's into it already. He's not just getting there. He didn't just hit the beach. Like, he's been this guy for 4 seasons now, and so already late 20s. Like, there's 5 high-level years left max, I would say, with a guy like that.
Yeah, I would say that's generous. Max is right.
Yeah.
He'll be 29 in October.
Right. You get to early 30s, and if you're still, scoring 40 goals a year, you've had a career. Provided you started doing it early enough, and I think he qualifies.
But he was not right out of the box. Like Thompson also.
That's right.
It took a few years for him to launch.
Yeah, in a second organization.
Yeah.
To get there. But no, right. But, really, I think the sustainability point that the caller made earlier, he wanted to point out to us something he likes about this is that it doesn't feel like just a one and done. And, I don't know, there could be more clues that would point to that you would still want to ignore when you're in the throes of what we're in. I don't think there are. Right, I do think it points to being more sustainable than not. But right now is not a time you'd want to believe that what you're seeing is you can believe in it, that it is going to last. Because if you didn't, you wouldn't. For me, I wouldn't like their chances to make noise in these playoffs if I didn't believe in the sustainability of the team. I think they've got a good group. They've bought in. They're defending together. They are just giving everything they've got regularly enough to have the incredible run that they've had since early December. That, to me, as long as you keep doing that, then this is sustainable. Some of the names and faces will change, but if you've got a core group of players who know that what the formula is, then you should be able to just keep doing that for at least some amount of time here and have this not be a fluke. It's one of the reasons why I think if you're worried about them going out early is because you might take that, and I don't think this would be right to do, but you could take it as a sign that something isn't right here, right? That they were more lucky than they are good on balance this whole year. And I just don't believe that. I mean, I think watching this team and reading about this team and knowing, again, every analytic doesn't favor them, but there's enough good there that I think that they've got their hands around how to play in this version of the NHL.
803-0550, Game 2 tonight. It's another area where I just so don't want to rush it. This is another thing that's coming back after 15 years is I want to be in the present, as they say. Like, imagine, I'm thinking of somebody in their car right now going to the game. Oh, what again? What kind of contract is Zucker on? Like, right. It's completely not where your head is.
Right.
So, I mean, it's worth talking about, but one thing about all this, to not get ahead of myself in thinking about it, is what those talking points will be after round 1 or whenever it ends. If it's a cup, it's a cup. If it's not, what went wrong, like that. That's usually what we do. With the Bills, this has been tough to pin down the last 5 years. Like, what are they missing? Is there an intangible piece that they're missing? Is it game management? Is it just pass rush? Like, what is it that they lack? And enough time goes by where you kind of have to give in. Maybe you don't have to, but it's easy to give in to the idea that there is something. There is something that isn't right.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I feel that I mostly got forced into that with the Bills, and then the coaching change is made, and I'm like, okay, well, really, that's that then. But, the Sabres looked really good in the opener. They could have lost it. They're playing a team that's beatable. Ottawa's down 2 games, but everybody liked Ottawa more, right, in the regular season than Boston. We liked Philadelphia less. They're up 2-0 in their series for what it's worth. Didn't want Tampa, didn't want Montreal. Not that was everybody.
Yeah.
But you could have a tough series here and even lose it and end up there, which is like, all right, what was missing? And that would probably be what the Sabres themselves would do. Like it's tough though when you're talking about 82 games and then 6.
Right.
Like it's really
right.
It's a trap in sports, I think, to do that. The regular season is so much longer. And then you play one team for 2 weeks and draw big conclusions. I think you'd want to not have to do that. So please win. So we don't have to do that.
we can avoid that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm encouraged by the way, obviously, the way the game unfolded, just emotionally for the fan base, people who were there, even if you weren't, Canal Side, wherever you were at watching. You got like the full dose of what it can be like and what it can feel like and all that. And so, full marks, like giving the fans the experience. I think when it's so emotional like that, it can be pretty easy to kind of overlook, well, what did they do exactly? Like, how did they do it? And I think it's pretty notable that the 3 goals that they scored to, take the lead as quickly as they did there was, for all the talk this year from me. I don't need a lot of people doing it, but I'm certainly at the front of the line. The high cycle and the D and all that. This was behind the net and out. I'm coming out with the puck. Right? It's Krebs and Thompson on the first goal. On the second goal, it's Tuck and Thompson. So Thompson is physically, for all the talk about his hands and all this incredible talent he's got in this 6'6", 6'7" package that he is, he's just you couldn't get the puck off him. And
he got a bounce.
Sure.
Behind the line. He went back there because it was 1-on-2, I think, with Tuck, right? And Thompson goes back there, helps dig it out. And then the puck bounces back to him as he's coming back around outside the line, and he's got that opening.
Right. But still,
it's work. It's a grunt goal.
And all 3 of them were. They had the benefit of the guy Lindholm. I think broke his stick on the 3rd goal, so he's supposed to retrieve it. His stick falls apart, and now I've got McLeod and Quinn on the scene, and Quinn makes the pass. But again, it's forechecking in the corner. I'm coming out with the puck on all 3 of those goals. So kind of the antithesis of the river hockey and the high cycle and the D-men floating. They were still doing that in the game, but the goals came, and I don't think this is any accident. I think you should look at the Bruins D-core. Yes, McAvoy is excellent. To me, Zadorov he's a player I think I'd like on my team, but I would want to manage his minutes kind of the way the Sabres manage the minutes of Logan Stanley. Zadorov is not a good hockey. You can expose him. He is maybe the closest to like a Rathje or a Hatcher that there is in this series.
He might be old enough now.
He moves better than those guys did then, but comparatively speaking, like he's not fleet of foot. So he's a bit of a throwback, in that way. You can work their D, and then that's how they got their goals, was just working them. Not out high, but down there. And I don't think that was accidental. I think the Sabres would be right to recognize, like, we can exploit them down there. Let's just stay. And they just stayed with it, and they, got paid off. But I think that bodes well. Like, that they didn't need to play the game that they're known for this year. It really was just an old school get it behind them, because, Boston's clogging up passing lanes, and they're doing a good job mucking the game up. So you got to go out muck them. So chip it in behind him and go mess around with those D-men, and you're going to get some takeaways.
Here's Mike with us. Hi, Mike.
Hey guys, I love the talk. One of the things, what I love so much about this team right now, is you've got 4 first-round draft picks that aren't even in this lineup. You know, you got Kulich, you got Ostlund, you've got Hellenius, and you got the big defenseman who was the first-round pick this year. I mean, that really bodes well for this team because, you know, you've got high-end talent, you've got 4 really good defensemen that are and you know, maybe 8 defensemen. Maybe this kid can come in next year and get some limited minutes and get the NHL. But the future of this team, if you lose Tuck, you also have $10 million to spend. So I love the way that this team has been built. It turns out I didn't like them 6 months ago, but looking at it now retrospectively, it's so nice to see the talent that they have coming up. That doesn't make me afraid that this is a one and done or a two and done. This team could be around for a long time.
Yeah, I guess I have to confess again that I'm just not, my head is not in that space right now with the future. It all makes sense. Where guys are going to slot in and who's going, and is my goaltending going to be as good? Just different variables. I don't want to think about them yet because I want to be on tonight. But sure, that it's certainly a conversation. There are, by the way, 14 first-round picks on this roster. And that's probably not insane for the NHL because most guys,
right?
You know, it's a very much a top-heavy draft.
Even if they don't hit with their original team, Tage Thompson, as an example, was not a high pick, right? Like 17th, 16th?
26.
26, okay, pretty late, as it turns out. But still, that's a first-round pick.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys like that are on their, you know, second or third team even that would have been first-round picks.
Reverse alphabetical order. Tuck, Minnesota, 18th overall. Thompson, St. Louis, 26th overall. Stanley, 18th overall for Winnipeg. Shen, 2008, 5th overall.
Pretty high, yeah. Right.
Jack Quinn, Sabres pick, 8th overall. Owen Power, 101. Tanner Pearson was a first-round pick of the Kings in 2012, pick 30. Ostlund at 16. Norris by the Sharks at 19 in 2017. Why did he go reverse? I tend to go reverse. Kulich is 28 in 2022. Krebs, Vegas.
17.
Eichel trade, 17. Mm-hmm. Dahlin, 101. Byram, 104 for the Avs. And then Benson at pick 13. So, sure. There's certainly no easy argument against it. Like, it's not an old team. It's not a team with a bunch of UFAs. Like, they are not that. So, that's not an argument I'd want to make. Like, that it can't last. Does it have to? Are they that good? Here's what that makes me think about. You can say it. Like the caller, like yourself earlier, like just, you know, you can be in a happy place when it comes to the roster going forward. Will they spend that $10 million? You know, like that's not, I don't know. I wouldn't assume it, but, you know, hopefully if Tuck were to leave. I feel like what this is, though, that I'm more inclined to think about is that they could win right now.
Right.
Like, I was never experienced guy, and I never was about this team either. I didn't care that they were going to have less experience. It could still crop up, I guess, and I'll maybe have to eat my words. But in game one, they got tested by the scoreboard, and that's an easy game to get frustrated in. And who knows what the players' thoughts are as they're sitting on the bench during timeouts and the crowd goes quiet because it's 2-0 and fans are going, oh my God, I waited for this and this is what we got. I mean, just like it's good on them to not get down. And I mean, I think that's even a better outcome for them is to have gone through that game. And so
their power play got booed.
Their power play got booed
in the second period of this game. The first play, I mean, that happened.
I mean, go win right now. This is also 06. Go win right now.
Right.
And it could happen.
That's as good a reason as any to not really be worried about anything that we've been talking about for the last 20 minutes, which is really where you started when it first came up.
Well, I had that other
to begin
thought.
with, which is, right here. Like this, because I mean, I think that's all right to say. Like, it is not, like, I don't know, like any team that's in the tournament, if you believe the East is wide open, then Boston should be sitting around thinking we could win the Cup this year. And maybe some of them are. Maybe fans, I mean, not the players, of course. We go win a game tonight and then just, we're going back home and we're in it. But the conference all year, as competitive as the Atlantic was, I don't think Tampa is worlds better than you. Are they a better team because of their experience and their goalie's pedigree and his resume? It's really about resume. And yes, any team that's been in it and has won multiple cups like Tampa, and Colorado's a cup-winning team out west, like their resumes are gonna Edmonton's resume blows your resume out of the water. They've been in the finals the last 2 years in a row. So wide open is, in maybe some finger quotes to some extent, but there's not a team that you didn't just squeeze in at 92 points. I mean, 92 points is not even in the playoffs in this conference this year.
Boston had 98.
So, yeah, any team that's here, like Buffalo has looked all year to me like a team that could win it. Not all year, but since like January. Whenever Tuck said it, like, we're here to win the Cup. We're not just trying to squeeze in, or however he said it back in January, I think that was. It was right to say it.
It was just well enough into it all happening to not make it laughable. Right.
And it really sort of, you know what? Damn right you should say that, because look at the competition. You're as good as any of these teams. I don't think you're better. You're not the best, but nobody's head and shoulders. Like, if Colorado were in the East, then it would be like, oh God, how are you going to beat that team?
Yes.
I think. But there's no other team really like that in the league this year. I don't think.
And, I mean, if that's not in round one, we still have to be just happy to be here right now, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's not is that bad to say? Like, I don't mean that in terms of the players going into this game tonight or anything like this, or this series, but I don't even want to say it. The thought I had that I didn't want to say, the Voldemort of the situation here, is for all the comparisons to 06, would you take it? Would you take that result for this playoff run? And like, no. But how cool would that be if they? I mean, it would ultimately be heartbreak. But if they could win 2 rounds, right. Get us to Memorial Day.
Right.
I went to a game in Carolina on Memorial Day.
That's right.
Game 5 was on Memorial Day. And the race was not on. Because there was a guy with a sign in the parking lot. As the Sabres bus pulled in and said, "Isn't the race on?" It was not. But like, what would we have settled for? 2 weeks ago, 2 months ago, last July. Like, what would have been good enough? It keeps going up. And I said yesterday a lot, like, I think you would say this too. Sunday's game just sort of opens your mind to more from the Sabres in these playoffs, I think. Because not only did they pull it out, but they were tested, and they were good. Like, that wasn't a fluke win, but they really had to dig for it, and they did it. So experience and nerves and these things.
I mean, and that's why I brought up the booing, not to be, like, critical about it or make fun of them. Just point out, like, that's it. Everyone's so excited. We're looking so forward to this. We're halfway through the game and our power play is being booed on home ice. That's adversity. That is, like, we are letting these people down hard. We're letting ourselves down, and they just kept going. I did not see all of the Pittsburgh-Philly game, and I missed largely when Pittsburgh got a lot of action and a lot of shots on net because, as I've mentioned, the front half of that game, they had 5 shots on goal with 8 minutes to go in the second period. There was nothing happening there. At one point, they interviewed Erik Karlsson coming out of a TV timeout, and predictably, one of the questions was, how hard is it to not get down when you can't seem to really get anything going here offensively. And Carlson said it's hard. Basically he just copped to like, yeah, we're frustrated. I'm frustrated right now. And maybe any Sabre that you would have talked to at the 8-minute mark of the second period on Sunday night, maybe honestly would have told you the same thing. Or maybe they would have just said, no, we're just going to keep going. I don't know. I thought it was notable that Eric Carlson was willing to admit, yeah, like I'm frustrated. It's game 2, and we've had basically 70 minutes of this or 80 minutes of this already, and I'm pissed. Dude, you're Eric Carlson. I mean, just
it's honest.
It is honest. But the Sabres were in the same position, and not that they were getting smothered. Right, that's the difference. Like they probably knew they had the puck most of the time, and that it was really a game that was in their control. They just were on the wrong end of the scoreboard, and so maybe it's a little easier to keep going. It wasn't as frustrating a game as Pittsburgh was maybe playing, but either way, I'm just going a long way and saying a lot of words to say they went through a lot on Sunday night. Well, in just one single playoff game, they went through a lot.
Well, Bulldog, I don't have to tell you this, but major championships are about the very greatest coming up with their best when things matter the most. And Arby's has done just that. It's my favorite. And it's not exactly right. Because I'm not sure what those parts in the middle exactly were. Masters Radio had a read that they read all the time. It was just like that. And there was like no transition into it. I don't know how you would.
Right.
But we're here at the Masters. And you know what, fans? Major championships are about the very greatest players coming up big when things are the most important. And Arby's has done just that with a new roast beef sandwich. I mean, not to pimp for Arby's. I like Arby's. But can you the gall of that read? The gall of that read.
That should never get off.
Never lose it?
There's some email thread that should have killed that months before it got to the hands of that announcer.
I listened to 5 hours of baseball on the radio last night. I wasn't feeling well, and I was just trying to fall asleep and really couldn't do it. And some of these, I mean, ours, I'm not saying ours are better necessarily, but just like some of these. Apparently there's one pizza place where Angels fans go to watch every game. This is where the word all was in the read.
They sometimes play 8 games in a week.
162 times you're supposed to go to a pizza place to watch your baseball team play. Never to the stadium. Never TV. Always to this one place.
Yep.
I mean, computers are writing it. Well, a little bit of a tangent. Sabres and Bruins, Paul Hamilton at 6. Maybe it's not even slither time by 6. It's a 7:40 game.
Oh, right.
Maybe we'll be able to hear Paul.
I think that's right.
And he can hear us. We'll find out. There's some talk of Gary Bettman doing a press conference down there tonight. We might have that for you. We'll find out details as we get closer. And then 7:40 for the opening faceoff. No lineup changes expected. Sabres and Bruins, Buffalo up a game. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here at 803-0550. This is WGR.
Game night for the Sabres as they're hosting Boston, looking to take a 2-0 series lead. Pregame is coming up in just about a half hour at 6. Paul Hamilton will join the show then, and puck drop is at 7:40. Both, of course, are going to be right here on WGR. And for tonight, for both teams, no lineup changes are expected. Around the rest of the league, we do have 3 other games tonight. Montreal at Tampa at 7. 9:30, Vegas is hosting Utah. And then at 10, the Kings are in Denver versus Colorado. The Avs, Golden Knights, and Canadiens each have a 1-0 series lead. And, of course, we are talking about the playoffs, and the Sabres are there. And WGR Sports Radio 550 is your home for every moment of the run. Grab your Let's Go Buffalo playoff signs now at Lenko Supplies, featuring incredible discounts going on now. And you can get there with your Liberty Cab, your ride on time every time. And in baseball, the Bisons, they are back home and taking on the Clippers at 6:05, so that's in just about a half hour. Trey Savage will be on the bump today for Buffalo, and you can listen to that game on our sister station, the Bet 1520. While in the majors, we've got Yankees Red Sox at 6:45. That game is in Boston, 7:10. Mets trying to end an 11-game losing streak. They're going to host the Twins, and then at 9:38, the Jays, they're out west to take on the Angels. It's Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
We've built the platform and the foundation about the goaltending going into this playoffs. You know, the rookies versus the vets and experience versus unexperienced. And UPL, like when you look at a stat line of 850, you're like, oh, well, it wasn't that good, but he was good. There was a couple breakaway saves against David Pasternak, one that really stands out. That is a big swing moment in this game. And I think that is where it's not sometimes how many, it's when. UPL was very, very good in this game. Granted, he was 3 of 17. That doesn't matter. Big game moment, big game plays.
Former Sabres goaltender Carter Hutton right there. Luukkonen back in tonight, of course. That would be the plan. Game 2, Sabres and Bruins, just over 2 hours away. Bulldog back from a trip out west. How much could you sense what the crowd was like?
Not at all. I did not have sound where I was watching the majority of the game. I had sound. We watched in a bar that we were the only people watching, but they had music on, and it was not the kind of place where you could be like, "Hey, do you mind turning this?" So I didn't get any of that, but I just from experience, expected that. Of course, it was insane in there. And then the third period when they obviously scored their goals. I mean, it was outrageous by then. But I was watching ESPN's coverage. I didn't have access. Well, I guess I could have watched MSG on my iPad. But whatever, I had like an 80-inch TV above a fireplace in this hotel room, so we watched it on that. So I didn't get great, flavor of what was happening as much as I would have if I'd been even watching MSG or certainly watching with the sound on, even on ESPN.
I was not there, but from television, shots of the crowd outside, also taking you back to almost 20 years ago. I think it's 10 out of 10. I think that crowd, if you look at the fans, I mean, if you can hear them even better, but look at the fans after Samuelson's goal, and it's just bedlam scenes in there.
The fan, I saw a few different versions of this, and I think the one I saw the most repeatedly was shot by Spencer Brown in the crowd.
The Bills?
Yeah, of the
Spencer
Bills.
Brown?
Yeah, I know this. He and a few teammates, I saw McGovern and I saw Shakir, were riding around in the Zamboni at one point. And there was, I'm pretty sure I saw Spencer Brown's handle on this video that is from like the opposite corner of where the goal was scored. And yeah, the arena, it looks like strangers hugging strangers, basically. Just exuberance everywhere you look, hands on faces. People just absolutely cannot believe. There's, everybody's different, right? There's a couple of people that I see. I've watched it enough times that are just they're not doing anything. They're frozen. They're just staring at it like, I can't believe that just happened. Like, that's that expression, I'm pretty sure, is dumbfounded that this is happening. I'm here for this.
It would have been impossible, like almost impossible, to resist interacting with the people around you physically.
Right.
I mean, that's not my style. But on this one,
right.
In those playoff runs from before, it was my wife and I, and there was some of that. It's mostly she and I.
Yeah,
Like
there's one where you pick her up, isn't there?
Dumont.
Right.
Which she did say recently is her favorite ever Sabres memory.
Well, I think you have something to do with that.
Dumont, Game 3. Yep. So, just undeniable. And I think we've all enjoyed since Sunday night feedback from friends in faraway places who watched the game and felt it. And some have Sabre ties from growing up here and some don't. I mentioned yesterday my friend Jacob Sanderson, through ADP Chasing, our podcast, lives in Vancouver and is a Leafs fan. And he's like, Mike, look at that place. Are you in there? Like, they want to know, are you in there?
Right.
I'm like, no, I'm safe.
Right.
I'm safe. I'm out here. I'm safe.
I'm marked safe from exciting, insane hockey moments.
But Sal and I talked about that yesterday, too. He was at the game and was hearing from colleagues around the NFL talking about just like, wow. The ESPN play-by-play announcer, whose name is Monaco.
Mike Monaco, yeah.
Tweeted that he had never been to a sporting event with a better atmosphere than Game 1.
He's a pretty young-looking man. But I don't know his age. I don't know his career real well. But still, right. He looks young. But it was. There was, on the way out to Montana, there wasn't much reaction to I had a Sabres hat on most of the trip, right? The travel especially. Yesterday, leaving Montana in the Montana airport because the game was Sunday night. I got, and you get people traveling, whatever. So it's not like they were Montana locals necessarily, but I got a few, go Bills, go Bills, go Bills is so ubiquitous now. I got that with the Sabre hat yesterday. And then we spent an hour in Chicago, at the airport. And there was a lot of that. Like, people see hey, great game last night. Go Sabres.
Friends and podcast hosts and announcers and Matthew Tkachuk.
And strangers in airports.
And airport strangers, they're all.
Everyone's in.
Talking about what that looked and sounded and felt like. Here's AJ next. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
I was at the game on Sunday. I'm much like Mike. I'm not really a celebrate with all the people around me guy. I'll slap hands with my buddy next to me. Maybe the person's on the other side of me, but it was like bedlam in there, especially after the third goal, obviously. But it came so close to the second goal that they had literally just got done announcing Tage's second goal, and Sammy scores, and it was like madness, like people jumping into each other's arms, and it was unbelievable.
A few of the replays I watched of that without announcer sound on it, so just the natural sound in the building. The goal announcement is going on as Quinn is making the pass to Samuelson. There's the "Can I get a hell yeah?" I think is that Stone Cold Steve Austin, right? Can I get a hell yeah? And the fans answer hell yeah as Samuelson has the puck.
I saw content creators video,
right?
And it captured the whole thing, and it was just my sister asked me yesterday what was it like being in there, and I sent her that video and said, "This is about as well as I can sum it up. It was just madness."
Very cool. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, they don't announce goals during stoppages anymore because they've got to show other stuff, I guess.
Right.
So all the goal announcements, even the Boston goal, even those come during the play, almost without exception.
If you I know Jeremy's big on this, and I like the crowd pop, right? Like if you hear the crowd just a fraction of a second before the horn even. I feel like this is an impure example of that because the crowd is making noise, but they're answering something that has been said already. I'm not saying they wouldn't have been ready to blow anything, the place was going crazy, even without the hell yeah. They're probably reacting to that pass and popping, but it was enhanced. It was chemically enhanced by,
Too bad.
I'm going to answer with the hell yeah, and like hell yeah, and then the goal is in, and it's just insanity.
Yeah. Like Doan against Tampa for 8-7, kind of like that. It looked bigger,
right.
but still reminded me of that. Rob is next. Hi, Rob.
Hey, Mike. Bulldog, welcome back. I'm glad you had a great time.
Thanks, bud.
Always a pleasure talking to you guys. From a blind perspective, visually challenged, I had WGR 550 on Sunday, and I had Alexa on as loud as possible. And it was something to totally appreciate during the whole game. Just the sounds of the game, the sounds of the crowd, complete chaos, the chills, especially when we scored the 3 goals. It's just, it's something to take in when you can't visually see it, but it was unbelievable, and I'm looking forward to tonight, and I love listening to you guys, so thank you.
Thank you,
Rob. Enjoy the game.
Here's Tom next. Hi, Tom.
Hi, guys. How you doing today?
Good, Tom. Thank you.
Hey, I just wanted to talk about being at the game the other night. It's over a lifetime. My wife's never experienced a playoff game. And the atmosphere was incredible. We started early. We started at noon at Hoffer House, so it was a long day. But anyway, the crowd, I don't know if you guys seen the video. There's a video. You guys were talking about fans touching each other's faces and stuff like that. And there's a video out there of a guy jumping in a big guy's arm. Like he jumped from his seat and the guy caught him, and they were sitting there just bouncing him up and down for like, I don't know, it seemed like 5-10 seconds. But I mean, the place was rocking. It was great. I've never experienced anything like that. And I went to Game 7 at Carolina at 06. That was a totally different thing. But anyway, totally excited, totally pumped, and let's go Sabres. And lucky we got our one game in because we bought season tickets, so we were able to get one game in at kind of like a decent price, and I will be sitting at our house watching them.
All right, thanks,
Good deal, Tom. I'm glad you got to experience that. Anybody out there that went through that, I mean, just what a time to be in there. Just fantastic.
Absolutely. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. Paul Hamilton at 6, pregame 6:30. This is WGR. After the 6 o'clock update, we'll bring on Paul Hamilton. Busy pregame allotment tonight, so we're going to kick things off a little earlier, about an hour and a half away from face-off with Paul. Gary Bettman is expected to speak, and then we'll hear from Alex Tuck, lengthy interview with him, Lindy Ruff, Marco Sturm, and also Josh Doan, a one-on-one with Paul. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. Does the Boston going into a shell argument hold water? Is that what happened? Did they, get conservative?
No.
I didn't really see them do a lot all night.
It was the same game, really, I think, start to finish. I think it's possible that, certainly it's the kind of thing you say when you lose in sports, prevent defense. We know this. And it's a perfectly natural thing with, under 10 minutes to go in the third period of game one or any game of a playoff series, that matter even in the regular season now, but especially in the playoffs, okay, let's just, you're tempted to start talking about getting it parked in the garage a little sooner than you would be in, December. But no, I think it's a tale you tell yourself when it doesn't end the way you wanted it to. I think it was the same game, really, the whole game. It's just the Sabres, the goalie cracked, especially on Thompson's second goal. The first goal is a great play by Thompson, but the goalie looked the wrong way. That can happen when the play is back there. Credit to Krebs with a sneaky little play to get that puck to Thompson, and then Thompson executing it. But that's a mistake by the goalie. Whether you want to be hard on him about it or not depends on your perspective, but it's a mistake. He turned the wrong way.
And you think on the second one, as we talked about earlier, and I spent a lot of time on yesterday, a lot of tweets about it, he is expecting the shot to be lifted.
I believe that's right, yes.
Why wouldn't he? He's the bottom of it is completely covered. There's no reason for Thompson to think he could go through him.
Right.
And there's no rebound option there where, you have somebody on the right wing.
So you're in so
tight. Too close anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
You're not playing. You're trying to score, and I think Thompson was trying to lift that puck, and the defender's stick didn't get the puck, but got enough of Thompson's stick that it threw Swayman off. Because I'm assuming Swayman lifts his leg, thinking he's going to try to beat me between the leg and the glove, but I don't know for sure what happened there. But I think he blew it. That went right through him. That should not happen.
Should not happen there, buddy.
It's a great goal scorer, but he's in tight, and there's just not a lot of options there.
It's a shocking moment.
Yeah.
Thompson goes behind the net there and works the puck free. There's a Boston player who's peeling off from around the goal line to the right wing, maybe expecting the puck to come his way. Because I'm not sure I would say he loses Thompson, but he moves away from him. Thompson comes out from the goal line with it, and that guy would have been I think it's Peak or someone else. But anyway, that player there's a split second of right there.
Right.
Because I don't think he was expecting that to be what happened. Well, time to move on. Almost time to move on. We've spent a lot of time today on just, again, how amazing Sunday night was for, feelings.
Now just go do it again.
Yeah, just do that again. Maybe get a lead. Paul Hamilton after sports, Sabres Bruins pregame basically next, officially 6:30 tonight on WGR.
Sabres pregame coming up next as the Sabres are looking to take a 2-0 series lead on the Boston Bruins. Pregame again coming up next. Paul Hamilton will join the show right at the top of the hour. It's a 7:40 puck drop tonight, and both, of course, will be right here on WGR. Also, for both lineups, we are not expecting to see any lineup changes from Game 1. Around the rest of the league, there's 3 other games tonight. Montreal at Tampa Bay will get the night started at 7. 9:30 is Vegas hosting Utah, and then at 10, it's the Kings there in Denver versus Colorado. The Avs, Knights, and Canadiens each have 1-0 series leads. While in baseball, Bisons are back home. They're taking on the Clippers. First pitch over there starting in the next few minutes. Trey Savage is going to be on the bump for Buffalo. That game will be on our sister station, the Bet 1520. While the majors, we've got Yankees Red Sox, 6:45 in Boston, 7:10. Mets trying to end an 11-game losing streak. They host the Twins. And then at 9:38, the Jays are out west taking on the Angels. It's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
What do you like here? Game 2? Yeah, it's got to be game 2.
You don't go with game 84.
There's no game 84.
No, that doesn't exist.
I'll tell you what. Remind me. If they get to game 100, I'll say game 100.
Okay.
Game 2 of Eastern Conference first-round playoff series. The Sabres and Boston Bruins coming up tonight at 7:40. A little bit of a jump on the pregame stuff for us, because we have a couple of additionals. One is Gary Bettman expected to speak live. Paul Hamilton can tell us what he knows about that in a minute or so. And also, interviews are a little longer, more availability. So both coaches.
Opposing coach, right, yep.
Josh Stone and Alex Tuck. Well, we have been talking about it all day. Sometimes on Sabre pregame shows, we don't. And then we get to the pregame shows, oh, yeah, what'd you think of the last game? I think we've covered it.
Right.
But it was a fabulous comeback win in an incredible atmosphere. The Sabres, 10 out of 10, winning that game, playing well mostly throughout, and pulling it out 4-3.
Yeah, it really was something. And as we're getting ready to bring Paul in, I want to share with our audience what my son observed from Paul on Sunday night as this game swung and everyone's emotions and everything was all happening there. And Owen has only been working with you, Paul, side by side here since this hockey season when he got a pass and started going to these games. And I'm grateful, I know he is too, for you, being so welcoming and, showing him the ropes and how everything works and all that. So it's not like he's been sitting next to you for years at these games or anything. It's only been this season. But he said when Samuelsson scored, one of his favorite things that happened was you just leaning back in your chair cackling. Kind of like a crazy person is how he said it. But that was your reaction to the mayhem that had unfolded in the building and in all of our lives, was just laughing at just the insanity.
I think that's happening. A great reaction.
Yeah, me too. That's why I'm bringing it up. I hope Paul thinks it's a great reaction too and doesn't mind me sharing this.
Yeah, I just started laughing. I just started laughing, and right in 3:16, I had a person who's probably my best friend in the world sitting there, and I looked over at her, and she's like losing her mind over there. And it just the whole atmosphere here was crazy. By the way, I do have to correct you. Just like you are the Bulldog, your son is the goalie. We don't call him Owen. We call him the goalie. So just so you know.
Okay. All right. We'll see if that takes hold. Good luck with that.
Anytime I refer to him as the goalie, even in the morning. So,
gotcha.
Well, Paul has limited options.
Goalie.
He can't cheer or hug Owen.
Right.
I mean, there's only certain things you can get away with.
Right.
All you can do is laugh. Love it.
I know it was just insane, and just to be in the building, just how it went. Because I kind of felt sorry for the fans. I said in the third period to the goalie that I go, God, I feel sorry for these fans. They want to cheer so badly, and Boston just kind of thrown a cover over this game, and it was just it just seemed like the Bruins had 6 guys on the ice, and I felt really bad, but I didn't need to feel bad for the fans for like 8 minutes, the last 8 minutes of the game, as they blew the roof off the place. And honestly, guys, I really think the Sabres wore them down, because it was the Sabres who were the physical team. And I think eventually it just wore the Bruins down, and then the fans jumped into the game, and the Bruins just went, uh-oh, and turned into 4 goals.
Yeah, Paul, we were talking about this earlier. We can make this our spotlight look at tonight's opponent here. Brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. When it's game time, it's Tully time. Mike asked me, because I think some Boston opinions about this from media, and I don't know if the team has said it exactly this way, but I know I saw it talked about by some Boston media, that they went into a shell, right? That they were just too worried about just trying to protect the 2-0 lead. And I'm more with you. My response when Mike brought that up in here was to say, I think the Sabres just stayed with it. I didn't think that the game was the same game. Obviously Boston had that lead, and it's natural that you'd want to try to protect the lead and get the game parked safely in the garage. No trademark needed. But yet, you tell yourself a story that, we went into a shell. I think I'm with you. I think Buffalo just wore them down, Paul. Those goals all were generated from behind the goal line, which is not really this team's calling card, right? They're cycle high and the defensemen and all this sort of stuff. They just threw it in there and went and outworked them, and I think wore them down. There's nothing to me about Boston's posture in this game that said they stopped trying to score goals. They couldn't generate hardly any offense all game.
Yeah, and Thompson had said they can't get frustrated, and I don't think they did. I think they did exactly what Thompson said, that they kept at it and kept at it. They didn't get frustrated, because he had said, if we get frustrated, we're going to make bad plays and we're going to give the puck away, and that's going to turn into, you know what. And they kept the frustration down, knowing that Boston was going to play them that way. And then they added the third forechecker. Once they added the third forechecker, Boston had no idea how to handle it. Plus, as I thought they were worn down anyway. So now they're worn down. Now you got the third forechecker, and they're in trouble. And now, as Marco Sturm, as you'll hear, called him, 72 got loose around the net. He goes, well, we were trying to protect our net, and if you let 72 loose there, you're going to, he's too good. You can't let that happen. And I thought, 72, okay, that's what we're going to call him. Good. Yeah, he's right, though. You leave 72 there around the net, you're paying for it.
I like to use the numbers. The coach has to figure out if it's going to come off as disrespect. I don't know. That's probably somewhat the point here.
I don't look at it that way. I just thought it was kind of funny.
You've covered some of this already. And from a Sabres standpoint then, at least, Paul, adjustments for tonight, what do you want to do differently?
It would be really helpful for the Sabres if they could get this crowd into this game early. And, of course, Boston wants to take them out of the game, which they did in Game 1 until basically the third period. But if Buffalo could somehow get a goal or get something rolling early and get this crowd rolling and get the Bruins saying, uh-oh, I think that would really, really help their case. And even, if the Bruins are still going to take goofy penalties, which they kind of did last game, Lindy Ruff, and I could see it. They weren't competing. They weren't winning battles on the power play. You can't have a good power play if you're not willing to win battles. And they weren't. I remember one specifically on the wall. There were 2 Sabres and 1 Bruin. The Bruin easily won the battle and put it down. I'm like, really? And then I'm watching 3 different times a Sabre come up to the blue line and try to go through all 4 Bruins. That's not going to work. It's just like You have the speed. If they're going to line up at the blue line, put it behind them and beat them to the puck and win the battle. So Lindy Ruff was taught, and you will again hear him talk about it today. Different things that they could do to maybe help their power play. Things like that. But if you're not going to compete, you're not going to win battles. You probably are not going to score a power play goal.
We, again, are still an hour and a half away from face-off. We started early bringing Paul on because Gary Bettman is expected to speak. Do you know why, Paul? What's he here for?
He's here. He's just here for a game. I mean, he'll be in a different building all the time, going around the league, witnessing the playoffs. So, no, it's not an announcement or anything like that. He's here to answer questions and that the media might have from him or for him rather. But he's just here to see a playoff hockey game, and you will see him during the playoffs in other buildings also.
So nothing formal. Very good. We have that coming up 6:30. Do you know where he's set up?
Yep, right where Lindy Ruff is set up, and Marco Sturm after the game. So, we'll be able to bring that to everybody live.
Paul, we expect no lineup changes. We don't know any different, right? Lindy didn't divulge anything. Sturm said no lineup changes, but Lindy wasn't definitive.
Sturm said it.
Yeah.
And I watched the morning skate. It was the lines and deep airs were exactly the same. And why would they change? There's no reason to change anything. I mean, if you had Victor Olofsson sitting in the stands and you could dress him to play on your power play, then maybe you would make that change.
Right.
But they don't have Victor Olofsson sitting in the stands. So with that minus that, there's really nothing to do.
Are we past the deadline for Victor Olofsson? Too late to make a move here? Calgary, he's not playing.
Now that we're through one game and an offer on the power play in that game, now's maybe the time to say I was mistaken in silently hoping that, much like we talk about during Bills seasons in like December, hey, are they sitting on their best stuff? They got stuff they're going to unveil in the playoffs, different plays, spins on formations. I was hoping the Sabres would have some new idea for the power play when the playoffs started, but I guess not.
Well, everything I said they didn't do, they did on their first power play. They actually, they were so aggressive in the crease, they actually put the puck and the goaltender in the net. And fine, do that. And make them wave it off, which they did, rightfully so. But make them wave it off. Put the goalie in the net. I don't care. I mean, they were competing. They were putting the goaltender in the net. I mean, they were making good plays. They were working it around, getting some chances. They had guys at the net. They made Swayman make some saves. And I thought to myself, after that power play, okay, if every power play is like that, they're going to get a power play goal. Well, they didn't even come close to that in the next three power plays.
Maybe tonight. Paul, thanks. Good to hear the music behind you, even if it is early.
Well, I'm actually down in the 100 level, so I'm here with the fans, and the fans have waved and said hello to you guys as they've walked by and stuff. But
fans,
yeah,
what's
I'm right
up?
down here with the fans in the 100 level.
You sound good.
And this is just a DJ. This isn't a band yet. Right, Paul?
Yeah, actually, the Strictly Hip will be playing fairly soon, so that'll be a treat to hear them.
Excellent. All right, good job, Paul. We'll let you go do some TV stuff and catch up with you. Well, I guess Brian will catch up with you in about an hour or so.
Sounds good.
I saw a sign for the Hip at the Strictly Hip at the Angola Theater on Saturday. I'm not sure if they were there Saturday night or they're going to be there.
They're coming up soon.
Think of them fondly.
Good.
This is the 51st Game 2 in Sabres history. The Sabres are a not impressive 18-32 in Games 2 over the years. Their last win is 4 series ago. And I remember this game and the winning goal very well. It's Stafford to Vanek to beat Henrik Lundqvist in Game 2 to break a tie, mid-third period. This is the Rangers series in 07, second round. They won the opener and took a 2-0 lead in the series on that goal, essentially. They dropped the 2 games in New York, eventually won the series in 6. Their last 3 games, too, the Corvo point shot in double overtime conference finals. Boston won here 5-3 to even that series in 2010. And the Flyers, likewise, evened their series with the Sabres in 2011 with a 5-4 win after losing the opener, maybe 1-0 on a Coletta goal.
Okay, that tracks, yeah.
2011. All right, so still to come, Lindy Ruff, Marco Sturm, Josh Doan, and also Gary Bettman before any of that. But first, we have about a 10-minute scrum sit-down with Alex Tuck.